When you look at the amazing Rogue Trader artwork from the cover, which I've ordered, by the way, you see Beaky Boys. Huh? Beaky Boys are the face of old school Warhammer.
But in Rogue Trader, it was like this. But in Rogue Trader, it was like this. That's you.
No, I am not a Rogue Trader boy. Do not try to strawman me, motherfucker. Don't you strawman me, motherfucker. I am not a Rogue Trader boy. Do not make me.
You don't understand. Warhammer is satirical.
Oh, fuck. I am not that. I am not that.
It's
Do not straw me.
Back in Rogue Trader,
Do not straw me, motherfucker. Don't you strawman me.
One mark will be vehicle 6, comprised of warrior women.
Hi friends, I'm LJ Jarvis, and welcome back to Will's Jarvis Show.
Before we begin, let us thank you for clicking onto this video. If you'd like to see more videos like these, consider subscribing and hitting the bell button so you'll never miss an episode. Now, on with the show.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to On Air with Jarvis, the podcast of all things Warhammer and general stuff I find of interest. Join me today for a Season 3 final are two gentlemen that I've been wanting to put in the same room for some time. So let's give a warm welcome to Hubrecht and Badger. How's it going, gentlemen?
I'm doing well. How are you two doing?
I'm excellent, thank you.
I'm doing pretty good myself. I'm actually, by the time we publish this podcast, I'll be picking up the third Dawnbringer book, so that's going to be something cool to pick up.
I have not touched a single Dawnbringer book or anything related to Age of Sigmar, so
Shame on you.
I can't have an opinion on this.
I have not touched any Dawnbringer book, although I did buy some Stormcast earlier this year, so I'm not completely divorced from Age of Sigmar.
One of us.
Hey, I like AOS. I just like fantasy more. That's all. I'm not one of the guys that thinks that AOS is garbage. You know, it's terrible. I know it. I think it has made its own identity. I simply like fantasy more.
I just like the Sogma memes.
Yeah, I'll just say it. I'll say right now, because I said yesterday, I find AOS a much more interesting saying than fantasy. There, I said it.
Blasphemy.
Okay. From what
For they hated him because he told the truth.
From what I have seen,
Blasphemy.
Hubert, shut up. From what I have seen, AOS is definitely a lot more distinct than Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh, there he said it again. He said it again.
I'm coming from this from complete ignorance. But yeah, AOS definitely seems to have a more
originality.
Originality than original fantasy, because original fantasy does seem like your textbook fantasy setting.
Like, I'll say this, and this came from a YouTuber that really liked fantasy, right? And this was years before Age of Sigmar came out, right? Fantasy is very well written, even though at its core, it's horribly generic, right? Because for the nations of the world, we have the Holy Roman Empire, we have the medieval Russians, we have the medieval French, we have the Chinese, we have the Egyptians.
Well, we just got the Chinese. We didn't even have them before.
Oh, and what's the nation called? Cathay.
Cathay. I remember that I was the one that told you that Cathay was simply an archaic way to refer to China.
Yeah. And what's Japan called in that world?
What?
Napalm.
Nippon.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
Okay, yes, like it's terribly generic when you look at its surface, but at the same time, I don't know what's with Warhammer Fantasy that despite being so seemingly unoriginal in a lot of its concepts, it's done in such a way that it kind of does it better than most people. Because here's the thing, fantasy, writers taking obvious analogies to real world nations in a different period of history is nothing new. But they kind of seldom do it in such a bombastic way as Warhammer Fantasy.
I think that's just an effect that Warhammer has in general.
Yeah,
The fact that it is so absurd, that it's so over the top,
so grandiose.
grandiose, yeah, that nothing can really match it in terms of like sheer like absurdity in a way.
Like, I think it's also a thing where it came out at a time before it became a generic fantasy trope. Like, you know, it came out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
Like,
it was like the 80s, so we say it's generic, but similar to Lord of the Rings, it could have been one of the things that kind
Yeah,
of.
can you even call it generic? It's like calling Dracula a generic vampire novel,
Whoa,
right?
whoa. Well, me and Pancreas talked about this. It's like, do you like Tolkien elves? Well, Warhammer has the same kind of Tolkien elves. Do you like
No, I do
Tolkien
not.
dwarves? We have the Warhammer has Tolkien kind of dwarves. But
I think like what like Vad just says, like yes, it's very obviously Tolkienian, but its aggressiveness is made, you know, they're made far more aggressive than they are in Tolkien. Like, for example, the hatred of dwarves and elves in Tolkien, it exists. It has caused war between them, but not to the extent that it has in Warhammer. You know, the aggressiveness is, you know, for the Grimdark tone, the aggressiveness is turned up to 11 on everyone.
It's kind of like again, don't really have an expertise in this, but Warhammer Fantasy does seem kind of like Tolkien's like gritty like brother.
yeah, it is very inspired by Tolkien. And yeah, you could say it is like the, you know, younger brother of Tolkien that wants to be like him, but be dark. We're going to be dark.
Yeah, honestly, it kind of is. Although, like I said, it's very surprising the amount of detail it goes. Like, for example, if you read some of the RPG books of the current edition of Warhammer Fantasy, the insane level of detail they go into how life in the Empire works, like, it's honestly, you know, a genius in world building. Not exactly in its originality, but in its depth, it's insane. I highly recommend the Warhammer Fantasy role-playing books if you can get them.
Yeah, I've skimmed through the Warhammer Fantasy books, to be honest, and they are like thick. They are thick tomes.
And, you know, despite me like talking fantasy a lot, right? It is something I do appreciate. Like, I do have like one of their very old rule books. It's tearing apart and it's barely holding up, but then again, I found it at a thrift store, but it is something I treasure in my collection. Yeah.
Yeah, well, old books like that are always awesome, and I will say, old fantasy in terms of art has.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes. And
hands down.
And may I say this, if I may be so daring, I think AOS 2 has very interesting models, and Games Workshop has gone very creative with something like AOS, because even if you see like some of the models now, like they updated one of their very first Stormcast models named Ionis, I think that's how you pronounce him.
Yeah.
Right? That screams, you know, Stormcast Chaplain, and with him riding a dragon, it's metal as
is
fuck.
that guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that model was so cool.
It is, and his breastplate is not made to design to look like a ribcage. It's exposing his ribcage, and I'm just saying.
Oh, that's metal.
Oh, I didn't know that tidbit. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's Mexican as fuck. He looks Mexican as fuck.
Yes, sí, amigo.
I will say this too: every single faction in AOS has at least one model that I really like.
Oh, and like, don't get me started on something like the Seraphon when they were coming out. It's like those things are gorgeous.
I might just get Seraphon because they're so well done. Like, and we literally were talking earlier about
Aztecs,
my Aztec thoughts, right?
Yeah, man. I like the Sylvaneth, isn't it? The tree people?
Yes.
Trader, didn't you say you hated elf things?
I do. I only recently found out they were elves and it killed me.
You just found out now?
Yeah, I found out like I found out when they revealed the treatle model, the fucking tree beetle.
Yeah.
I found out that
treatle,
a tree on a bug.
Yeah. I only found out they were elves like when all that was revealed.
What?
It broke my heart. Listen, until Pancreas No Works makes a fucking Sylvaneth video, that's as deep as my AOS knowledge goes.
But then again,
Fair
AOS.
enough.
Then again, AOS. It has Icarodrons, right? Steampunk dwarves on giant airships.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
guys look cool.
I am a dwarf and
I
I'm
don't-
digging a hole. Dig a hole. Come on, sing with me.
I've met-
Dig a
More
dig
like
a hole.
harvesting clouds now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they've conquered the skies.
You want some proper dwarf with some actual head chest? The Fire Slayers.
Fire Slayers look sick as fuck. Man.
Yes.
I-
But they do need a more exciting range than just dwarf with axe. Admittedly,
no,
Fair enough.
no, dwarf with axe is all they need.
yeah. But I'm just saying that if you have that with all the models, with all the units, it's like, can we have something different? How about something like a golem?
Okay,
Yeah, that could work, yeah.
like a fire golem. Since we're on the topic of dwarves, if you don't mind me shifting from AOS,
Go right ahead.
Right.
what did you guys think of the Warhammer Day Votan model?
You know, I will say this: I really do like it, and I think it is a very cool, model when within the Leagues of Votan range. Like, I really like the Leagues of Votan. It's just I'm not sure if that was maybe the most appropriate model for the 40th anniversary of Warhammer. It's like,
Yeah, no.
Agreed. Heavily agreed. I mean, the model is cool. I liked it. I think maybe a bit. I think the Votan models suffer a bit from sameness, in my opinion.
sameness.
Like, sort of.
I don't know what that
but-
means. Sorry, I don't know. What
You
it
know that
means.
they all look kind of this, very similar to each other. Like
That's
the
all
individual
models.
characters. Yes, but I mean on the individual character faces.
Yeah, but in their defense, that is lore friendly for them.
Yes.
Because they're
Nothing.
clones.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
know, Lewis. I know they're clones.
Well, it's not even because they're clones; it's because they're like gritty survivalist people. So they don't really care about the whole, looking different. If it works, it works. But
Fair enough.
I
But-
think I think part of the issue, and it's an issue with the Votan in general, is there's nothing for them in terms of lore when you really get down to it. There's like
Yeah.
What do you mean?
that's maybe like a couple of hundred pages.
And only a quarter of that is actual lore for them.
Exactly. There's no book. There's no characters, so they can't really make a character model.
Like this
No,
is
I
a very
appreciate
young
that.
army. Like, sorry, I will admit it is a very young army, but it doesn't mean they're not going to get stuff. I'm just saying it's
No. It's just they're
Mhm.
taking a while to get.
yeah.
I'm
it's like-
dreading who will write that first novel. I think I think Chrono is actually dreading it too.
Oh, it's so. Yeah, I am concerned. I have no idea who I'd want to write it either because I don't know enough about the faction.
I think Darius Hanks has been writing like the current Gotrek books and AOS. So I think someone like him would be most appropriate to write like a Votan book. I think.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, okay. I would be more comfortable with Darius Hanks and Gab Thorpe, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Dark Angel fan, so anything by Gav Thorpe is. But on the Votan, there is something that I've wanted to talk to Hugh about for ages. Ever since you did the last episode with him and Ineptus, Hugh, you came up with a theory that I absolutely love in that episode, and that was about Fenris being an old Votan hold world.
Oh yeah.
World.
Yeah, I remember that.
The reason I love that idea so much is because it fixes one of my major issues with the Space Wolves, and that is the spirit of Fenris.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're not psychers, guys.
I know
We're different, guys.
it makes me mad, but ancestor cores have a signature in the wall, don't they?
Oh.
So
Yeah,
if-
they do.
Did I miss
So
this in the codex?
Yeah. Ancestor cores have a presence in the warp, and that's how the Votan, like the Grimnir, can use warp travel.
Oh, I missed this. I must have missed this.
They're essentially like League of Votan Astronomicons.
Yeah, I remember them, the Grimnar, yeah.
Yeah. So if Fenris was an old Votan holdworld, and the Ancestor core is still there, that could have been the spirit of Fenris.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes, I love it.
And
that's a great catch, Badger.
And it will finally justify the existence of Space Wolves.
It would. And then when Fenris gets destroyed, it would be even better.
Exactly. No more furries.
But yeah, I've been wanting to say this for months. Ever since that episode went up. But I knew me and Hugh would be on an episode and I wanted to bring it up now.
Yeah, no, it's a great catch, Badger, honestly. I don't know, like, how big of a presence in the warp can have, Ancestral Core can have, in order to filter, the warp thing through the Space Wolves' belief.
Exactly.
However,
However, the catch to that is the Kindred don't have a big enough warp presence to, maybe affect it, but a human could.
Maybe, okay, and this is just me elaborating on this. Okay, so we assume that the Kindred Hold has been abandoned for a very long time. So the Ancestor Core, its veneration as the World Spirit of Fenris augmented its power in the warp through, people believing in, the World Spirit of Fenris, who's actually the Ancestor Core.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
Exactly that. And then because the human do have that slightly larger or significantly larger presence in the warp, it could be almost like a bit of an Orc effect after like thousands and thousands of years of them venerating this spirit of Fenris like Fenris that is so inhospitable that it could then actually develop into, that thing. And then it also, stops the Space Wolves being so cringe.
And I will actually say this too.
Ancestor.
I will actually say this too, is that if my knowledge is correct, I also think that the kin as a whole, their presence in the warp is sort of muffled because technically speaking, they are clones of each other and clones of their ancestors. So the presence that they would have, like each kin will have within the warp, it wouldn't be lesser than the Tau. It'll be greater than a Tau, but at the same time, it wouldn't be much, or if there's a proper word to say it, would be synthetic because they are a sort of synthetic
pretty much.
People.
That is basically what it is, because I think the only, psychers don't occur naturally in the kin. They have to be made as Grimnir.
Yes.
So it very much is, as you said, a synthetic warp presence. Yeah.
And
great catch, Badger.
But yeah,
it's a great catch.
I've been holding that in for so long.
Well,
and you know what? Because he did brought up that you knew me, I would invite you with a podcast with me and Hubrecht, right? I sort of knew I had to get you two on the show for some time because I knew that I have to put your anime rivalry on screen or in audio form. So with that in mind, I am curious. As how you two have met for the first time, because that must be an interesting story.
Oh, do you remember, Badger?
I think I do, because I think it set up our relationship pretty well.
Okay, yeah. If I remember correctly, if I'm remembering this correctly, when I started chatting with you, a couple of years ago, when I actually posted a tweet, something about history takes that would get you
exactly it.
Yes.
Exactly
What's the context?
Okay, so Hugh posted a tweet, and it is the Tangled meme where the guy's getting all the swords pointed at him.
Okay,
history takes that will get you like this, right?
Yeah. And mine, I started a little lukewarm, and then I said something about the American Civil War with the Confederacy, And then I put the
The
real
Unionists were in the right.
Hell yeah, they were. And then I put the
Fucking
real
Dixie traitors.
John Brown's body lies a moldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a moldering in the grave.
But yeah,
Sing with me.
So the real spicy take was I said that the Ottoman Empire was a legitimate successor to Rome.
Oh, that's a bold strategy.
I still believe it. They were a
Yeah.
legitimate successor to Rome.
As you can see, Lewis, the cringe cannot be cured from those who do not want to be cured.
That's a bold strategy. Hubrecht, let's see how it plays off for him.
With what I just said, you are just consumed by papist lies.
Oh, pump your brakes, boy. Pump your brakes, boy.
Ooh, bold words from the humper of a false prophet.
Oh, Hugh.
But yeah,
Hugh.
So
Not that kind of talk here. It's like, geez, bro, I thought I brought enough to HR to stop you that kind of talk, bro.
This blatant Islamophobia.
You gotta grow up, Hubrecht. You gotta
Islamophobia.
grow up.
Islamists fear me.
You bastard.
Hubrecht, I'm going to have to send you to HR again. Jeez, dude, it's 2023, shaking my head.
Funnily enough, I went into that conversation fully expecting to hate you, Hugh. I'm not kidding. The second I quote tweeted that or commented or whatever I ended up doing, and then the disagreements began, I was like, oh fuck, a tradcaf, here we go. and then it ended up being literally to this date the most civil disagreement I've ever had on Twitter.
That's kind of the thing, right? I mean, yes, it was a civil disagreement, but here's the thing, Badger, you actually tried to be reasonable about it. I heavily disagree with that, but...
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what? Because Hubrecht here, I say you guys have this anime rivalry. If this was a specific rivalry, it'll be Goku and Vegeta, because Hubrecht has this ego and this pride as sensitive as a hymen.
100%.
I'm just saying,
Ooh.
one little poke, and he goes...
Oh, my word.
Do you know, nonsense. You know that Goku is the real president of Mexico, by the way.
So that makes Badger your president.
To be fair, I'm fairly sure I'm about the same size as Vegeta, so maybe I'm in this situation.
Do you count your hair?
I fucking wish.
I'm 5'11", if that means anything.
Yeah, I'm 5'4".
So am I.
I'm 5'4", man, and I have a receding hair.
Hey, you are a dwarf.
Why do you think I hate elves?
I know, it's like those knife-eared, perfume-wearing, dress-wearing.
Oh my god, he is a Turkish midget.
I am. It's brutal. The game was rigged from the start. But yeah, that is basically mine and Hugh's dynamic put to the T. We strongly disagree on basically everything, but we're at least cordial about it.
I don't think we disagree on literally everything, but
hyperbolic. But
it's funny because I remember that I don't know how that entire conversation went from the Ottomans are legitimate Roman inheritors. They're not. And it ended up being a discussion it went from the Ottomans to discussing who is the most valid inheritor to Rome between the West and Byzantium. Of course,
it basically ended up going from me Turk posting to a quite in-depth discussion on theology and the schism of Christianity. It was
God, I came to this podcast to hear Warhammer, not a thing about religion. I'm subscribing. I don't want religion in my podcast. In my Warhammer podcast.
Typical Fedora cringe.
No. I am a skeptic.
I have a Quran right in front of me. I will start reading it if I need to.
Now I just need...
That was pretty much the story. It
Yeah,
ended up being about
Yeah.
discussion between the schism, who actually was the legitimate inheritor to Rome.
Mhm.
And the true inheritor
Yeah.
is the papacy.
No.
Upon this rocks, Peter, I will build my church.
To my church, the gates of hell shall not stand upon it.
Here's my counter argument. Hired Fatih Sultan Mehmet, 1453.
Well, so
I don't know
you,
who that
you
is.
beat French Orthodox. That's what you did. Big deal.
Moving on.
I am outnumbered by 2 Catholics here. This is unfair.
Oh, unfair.
That's what they said at Lepanto and
You
Vienna and Malta.
How
do you
dare
think
you.
do you think Chrono would be on your side? He's a Hindu.
You know what? I have no idea whose side Chrono was on. I'll just pretend to be. I will pretend to be an Iron Warriors fan. That will get him on my side.
Badger, I hold respect for you, even though you're a Dark Angels fanboy. Do not sink lower, please, to being an Iron Warriors fan. Come on, they're literally the crybabies of the setting.
Oh man, they are brutal. But I will give Chrono credit. His video on the Iron Warriors.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Mm.
Like that's not that's not being questioned. It was a great video.
Hell yeah.
He really does make great videos, yeah.
He's been killing it lately, man.
Yeah, honestly, man, like Chrono has unironically become one of my favorite Warhammer channels. Like I seldom watch any more lore tubers than him.
All right, I'm banning you from the podcast. Saying that
Yeah.
from my face, banned.
Hey, you. To be fair, seeing as we are on his show, Lewis, you do have one of the better podcasts that I listen to, and I've actually
much
got
better,
my sister
much better.
into listening to it.
Oh, right. That's actually, like I remember that, Lewis. I remember that you posted an answer like, "Oh, do you show this to your family?" That's some sort of thing.
I did. Yeah, what do they think?
I remember that when the first video that I collaborated with you.
Oh yeah.
Well,
the
last church one. Like I showed it to my family, and it was pretty much the same thing. I don't know what it's talking about, but you two seem to be having fun. I don't know what's going on though.
I didn't show my sister. She fucking found it.
Oh wow!
Whoa.
Really?
She found it. She was
Which one? With you in it?
Yeah, with me in it. She saw the.
Oh.
She sent me the pod. It's like, is this you?
Oh wow!
And I got fucking livid.
Livid.
Mom,
Yeah.
brother is talking to papist.
No, where's a Canadian? A Canadian. He's talking to. He's talking to a Canadian.
Yeah,
Are you talking to a colonist?
I wasn't. All right. Simmer down, sir.
Okay.
But no, I wasn't thrilled about my sister hearing me say the word Wendigoosey.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey! There's no need to lie anymore. Badger, you're a firework.
You can be yourself.
Oh yeah. I'm coming out as a monster fucker.
Coming out. We already knew that. You have a permit and everything.
Hell yeah.
I got my own permit too.
Don't leave home without it. Stay strapped, everyone.
Maybe that's why there's
man.
such a huge population of Wendigos now.
I'm putting in God's work. But yeah, that's how we met, and we kind of went off topic there for a bit, didn't we?
It tends to happen.
But I'll share even my story because I think people might find this interesting. Actually, right? So yeah, I actually met Hubrecht for the first time through like a Twitter DM because I was asking him for a name of a vampire ball, that was leaked not so long ago.
Yeah.
But Badger, actually, this is interesting because you were actually going to talk to me about this one time, right? So I think I met you through a YouTuber called Miss Rivers Audio because he did some work for me.
Yes, I did. I was quite fond of listening to like ASMR and things like that and audios at the time. I have bad insomnia, so I take what I can get.
Girlfriend listens to you talk about Warhammer ASMR.
Oh, please
got-
tell me more about tooth codes.
But
yeah, so she I think she did work for you at one point.
yes, he did. He
for a
did.
Sister of Battle video.
Yes, he did. Back when I did lore videos, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I watched that video and thought, hey, this guy's pretty cool. Let's binge his entire channel. Because you didn't have that many videos on your channel at that point, I don't think. But I managed to like crack it out in a couple of days.
Yeah, I don't.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I did that much at the time, but I was thinking of collaborating with more people at that time. Yeah, before I started doing like podcasting.
Yeah, so that's how I came to know of Lewis, and then I got on Twitter, followed him, and yeah, I don't think I actually started to properly interact with you until after I'd got to know Hugh a bit more, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lewis eventually was kind of like one, eventually came across one of our very long threads of discussion of all us throwing daggers at each other.
Yeah. Probably. I was looking through some of our older conversations a few days ago, and we straight up went for like an hour in an Adam talk.
Oh God!
An official guy from Games Workshop, and it's just me and Hugh yelling at each other.
Oh fuck me, you people, you too.
That was exactly his reaction too.
And he was still going. But I love the fact that eventually we're like, yeah, but we kind of clear up to people. Yeah, but we're not actually in a flame war. We just do this because we're friends. It's actually in good spirits. We're not actually in a flame war between each other.
No. It's just a bit of a laugh, bit of a laugh.
It is a good like spin.
Remember, there's only war.
And you know what? This banter is actually displayed on the art too, because no matter what, it always looks like Hubrecht is a shit disturber for pointing at the other guests. I'm just saying.
Hey.
And Badger is on the was it seat lift going, "I'm the baby, God love me."
You are both lucky I am stuck in this high chair.
And you know what? If your sister finds this video too, she'll be like, "Why are you in a high chair? Why are you
badging out autistic screaming?"
God, yeah, that is awesome artwork.
It is.
I love it.
Yes, I love that. I look like Nelson from the Simpsons, pointing. Ha ha!
I like
You're
that.
probably saying something. Probably saying something racial and Mexican. Jeez, Hubrecht.
Tu maldito canadiense, maldito turco.
Oh, I don't know what that means, but better not be anything bad.
Maldito is damn. That's all it is.
Hey, I think if you guys want to be in this podcast, you should speak the language. It's like,
oh God, it's my childhood all over again.
ooh. Okay, moving on. But you know what? I think it has been a good year actually for Warhammer stuff, right? On a whole topic of
it's been a great year.
Yes, it has.
Like,
I've been
me
eating well.
Oh, definitely. I can definitely see why. And me and Hubrecht, we dedicated a whole podcast of us just talking about Tyranids, right? And I really like that one. And it really shows off how creative Games Workshop has become when it comes to like their new model stuff. But Space Marines, we're all Space Marines here. What are your thoughts on the second wave of Space Marine stuff? Because I got a lot to say.
Honestly.
No, you go first, Hugh.
Oh, no. Go ahead, sir. That's fine.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little lukewarm on the second phase of Space Marine stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like the Terminators.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Terminators are my jam. I like the Stern Guard and
I have lots to say about the Stern Guard. I have a lot to say.
I love the Stern Guard.
Stern Guard is good. Stern Guard is good. I will give them that. I like the what's it called?
Scout
The
Marines?
new Terminator. No, the new Terminator chaplain. Scout Marines, I do not like.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Scout Marines are mid. They are the definition of mid.
Oh,
Really?
oh,
Yeah.
fuck off. I love those things. I'm sorry, but how can you find them mid?
They're just what? They're just lame. I don't even like regular Scout Marines though, so
What?
I'm biased. Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like them. If I'm collecting a Space Marine or painting a Space Marine, I want him to be in full armor with a big ass bolt gun or a power sword or something that's cool, not like baby's first bolt gun.
Oh, it looks like someone's compensating for something.
Maybe I am. We've already established I am 5'4".
All right, you do not talk shit about my Scout Marines. I'm just saying, boy,
Yeah, I'm gonna
right?
go back.
Those things, like, right? It's so you are depicting lore of having them in the battlefield. I'm just saying, when you display them on your field, right, with along with your other, fully grown Marines, that's lore accurate. I'm just saying.
It's also bore accurate. It's boring.
Oh, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Oh, boring.
Ah.
Tell me it's boring.
I
What,
love that
Happy?
Lewis brought me here to fight Badger and the one fighting him. And he was the one fighting him.
Yeah.
Hubrecht, punch him
Well-
down.
I have to kneel to get that low.
Hey, fuck you. But no, Scouts are not my favorite. But
Fine.
the ones I really have an issue with are the jetpacks.
What?
Jetpack Marines.
Okay, no, now yes, fuck you.
Oh, fuck off, Badger. Those things are awesome.
No. They are.
Ugh, I
they
hate the
have-
Primaris jump packs. They're not like the
Oh.
original models. The original models were just so much better. God.
How dare you.
Like, I can see Badger
Yeah.
right now. Badger sounds like
Oh.
that guy making YouTube videos about, I hate this Space Marine stuff. Video number 50. I hate all things new. Everything old was better.
How dare you completely nail my problems with the Primaris jetpack? So as a whole, I actually do like the Primaris Space Marines. I think that as a whole, the range is good.
But jump packs, those things are amazing, dude. You don't like the jump pack captain?
I don't like the jump pack captain is okay.
Okay.
He is okay, and that's just because you can give him a power fist, and I like those things.
He finds the captain okay. It's like, that thing's amazing. It's beautiful.
No. But I don't like Primaris jetpacks because they are too clean looking. Like they
What?
like the old ones, the old jetpacks, they're kind of square. They got a few more angles. It suits the gritty aesthetic of 40k more for me. I do not like the more round shape of the Primaris jetpacks. I will die on this hill.
There is not even a hill, dude. It's a flat surface.
Well, either way, I'm dying on it.
Yeah, you sure are. I mean, I do like them because I think it fits them well, although I've been very vocal about not liking the more modern looking aspects of the Primaris range. That's why I really do not have any Vanguard style Marines, no infiltrators, no incursors, anything like that, because they don't look Space Marine-y enough to me.
And I'm a guy that likes Phobos Marines.
I mean, I don't hate them, but I don't love them.
Yeah,
No, I like.
my idea with this whole jetpack thing. Anyway, I don't hate it, but I'm not going to add any to my Dark Angels.
I'm just saying, like, I'm thinking those jump packs and the captain, they would definitely fit as Blood Ravens for me. I'm just saying.
Oh, 100%. They'd fit as
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
also coming from like a faction whose aesthetic is like Arthurian Knights, and Hubrecht don't start just yet.
We're getting there soon.
Okay.
But yeah. So they don't fit a Dark Angels aesthetic.
Okay.
Well,
Okay. Maybe you'll have that. Fine. But may I say, to talk about something positive, can I say something about the Stern Guard?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. So the one criticism, yes, I do agree on, is that the Primaris range, like infiltrators, no, intercessors, my bad. Right. So basically, the intercessor, it basically looks like the whole Space Marine range, right? It's not, there's not that much character you can make out of, the Primaris Marines, but for something like Stern Guard, right? Primaris Stern Guard, immediately when you see them, you think Stern Guard, because these guys look like Stern Guard Space Marines, right? And all the weapon options that you get from this box, like all the customization you get, and the fact that you have like grill helmets and beaky helmets, that sold me for this box. That sold me.
Exactly. The fact that the grill helmet is back, I love that.
That is the best Space Marine helmet.
No, the best Space Marine helmet is the beaky helmet. Real Space Marines have beaks.
No, the real Space Marines have an angry mouth where their beaks should be.
Real Space Marines have beaks.
You're both wrong. Best Space Marine helmet is Mark 3.
Okay, that is a good point. Mark 3 is like, that is just the best mark of armor.
Agreed.
Yeah.
No,
Mark 3 is
Jarvis.
Yeah. No, what are we? Raven.
Mark 3.
Mark 3.
Jarvis.
No.
Mark 3.
No, Jarvis, that's the poster boys of Space Marines. I'm just saying, huh? When you look at the amazing Rogue Trader artwork from the cover, which I've ordered, by the way, you see Beaky Boys. Huh? Beaky Boys are the face of old school Warhammer.
But in Rogue Trader, it was like this. But in Rogue Trader, it was like this. That's you.
No, I am not a Rogue Trader boy. Do not try to strawman me, motherfucker. Don't you strawman me, motherfucker. I am not a Rogue Trader boy. Do not make me.
You don't understand. Warhammer is satirical.
Oh, fuck. I am not that. I am not that.
It's
Do not straw me.
Back in Rogue Trader,
Do not straw me, motherfucker. Don't you straw man me, you disgusting taco eating Mexican cartel. Do not straw man me, motherfucker.
Wow, please do not compliment me so much. I can just take so much love.
Huh?
In fact, Lewis, why don't you go to a hospital and ask for some healthcare?
Oh,
I will track you down.
I can send you my address. Come at me anytime you want.
Yeah, this will be the fight of a lifetime.
God damn, but no, Mark 3 is the best armor.
But you know what? Jokes aside, right? I just really do like beaky helms, right? And when the Stern Guard were, about to come out, I was thinking, do I really have to get like Raven Guard upgrade sets just so I can get the beaky helms? But thank goodness we don't have to do that because it comes with the beaky helms already. So it's like, if I were to get the box, I can save those helmets for like other characters down the line. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I will say I will give the second Phase 2 Space Marines they are starting to get a lot more bits in the box.
That was something I was about to say as well. Here's the thing. My main problem with Primaris in general was that, okay, I cannot hate Primaris because Primaris Space Marines are literally the first Space Marines I ever owned. So I cannot literally go to it was better before because I never had models before that, right?
Okay.
So, but yeah, Space Marines are supposed to look kind of uniform. At the same time, one of the appeals of the army is making them your own, customize them, add different bits of each other, of each model's type of units to each other.
I remember this.
And I see more, like the second wave has shown me that yes, there's more of that coming. The different helmet options, the different heads, the different pauldron types, all of that, especially with the Stand Guard, has shown me that they are, GW is conscious of that.
Yes, exactly. I can definitely agree there. But we are starting to move in the right direction, and it's something that I found with the Black Templar refresh too. I know that isn't the most recent launch, but when they were
when they came out, yeah.
Yes, you have
we are
No
starting to
idea.
go. Yeah, we are starting to go in the right direction, because that was one of my biggest complaints with the Primaris range, is that there was never anything that made my Dark Angels feel like Dark Angels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
you-
didn't have the Gothic splendor that they're supposed to have.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
like you would think
Even when
these
you go
were.
to-
So,
like,
sorry,
they
you would
just-
just
they-
think that. Sorry, you would just think that these are guys are just Ultramarines painted like Dark Angels. Yeah,
Much like Gabriel said.
Exactly, yeah, where it really was like Gabriel set and nailing it on the head. The old Dark, and even the current, because the new one hasn't come out yet, but the current Dark Angel Primaris upgrade sprue,
It's
me-
horrible.
yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
There's
like
literally nothing outside of the shoulder pads that make it dark.
you know that I'm not exactly the Dark Angels number one. Even I got depressed when I saw that upgrade sprue.
It's so
Yeah,
sad.
what did it have? A couple of reliquaries with a sword that it wasn't even the wing sword, it was just a sword,
was-
right?
It was just a
Mhm.
power sword.
Yeah.
You say
Yeah.
reliquaries, Hubrecht, it was keys.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's literally just keys.
Anyone could have that, and what did it even did at least it didn't even have cowled heads, did it?
No, it didn't even have a hooded head.
oh man.
The fucking.
They're supposed to be the hoodlums of the
supposed to be.
Astartes.
Oh man, it makes me mad. Like, at least the White Scars had like slightly curved chain swords. in theirs.
But it didn't.
And they had
okay,
heads. They had heads. You could carry
but
heads.
but there was no head with a Fu Manchu, and that was a crime as
That
well.
was a crime. How dare they?
How dare you?
Yeah,
How dare you?
I definitely think the Primaris are starting to go in the right direction. There is still a way to go, but it's starting to go in the right direction.
Like,
Yeah. Another show of Black Templar superiority.
No.
and if I may say,
Yes.
and if I may say,
Yes.
actually, guys, right? So you know the Infernus Marines from the Leviathan box, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So when they were revealed and when they came with the box, yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of them. And I said this in a podcast, like I didn't think they would work as Blood Ravens, and I wouldn't paint them as Blood Ravens because I was thinking these just don't feel like Blood Ravens to me.
No,
So their fate would be either collecting dust for years or me eventually throwing them out. However,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought one day, wouldn't it be cool to paint some salamanders? Then I remembered, wait, I have the Infernus Marines. And so I painted one as the salamander, and my lord, it's perfect. It's just absolutely perfect.
It works great. For
I mean, it's their weapon of choice, right? So
Mhm.
they have to work as salamanders. And to this day, I'll still gloat and find it hilarious as once more, who was the first army to get a Pyre Blaster? The Black Templars. They forgot it first.
That's right.
I remember that when that box came out, the Salamanders fans were seething.
I remember that I responded to that saying, if you want the Pyre Blaster, next time kill the Orc War Boss when we tell you to. Signed, Reclusia
yeah.
Grimaldis. Reclusia Grimaldis.
But in all fairness, the Pyre Blast or whatever it's called does work with Templars too.
Mm-hmm. Burn the Witch.
Yeah, it works with very specific armies. It's why I'm also very lukewarm on the Infernus Marines, because they don't fit Dark Angels too well.
Yeah, Dark Angels are plasma anyway.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is I'm building up my salamanders for it. Like until we get more Infernus Marines, until we get an independent box of them, I'm currently actually building up my salamanders as like Gravis. So like aggressors and the Gravis
Yeah.
Apothecary from the Leviathan box. I'm
It
turning
does
him into a
fit them.
salamander. Yeah, it really does. And you know what?
It does.
We talked about like Phobos Marines, but Gravis Marines, I really like Gravis armor, right? Heavier
Gravis
set
Marines
of
are the shit.
yes, thank you. Someone agrees with that. Thank you. Now, Gravis, chaplain, Gravis, librarian, we need those. The idea just sounds metal. I'm just saying.
I'm a bit lukewarm on Gravis, not because I think it's bad, but because I always it makes me confused on what role it's supposed to play
Well, it's not
within
tactical.
the
It's not tactical Terminator armor, bro. It's
Yeah, I know. I
very
know it's
heavy
not Terminator armor.
It's heavier
I think
set
it's
of.
supposed to. Yeah, I think it's supposed to play a role as a more mobile Terminator because
Because it's not as heavy, right?
yeah.
Lore-wise, I mean.
It's not as
in terms of
heavy.
gameplay. Yeah, in terms of gameplay, can't Gravis Marines go into transports?
Yes, they can.
Yes.
Terminators too, can't they?
Can they?
Terminators can go
Into like teleportation or transports?
Transports.
I'm pretty sure Terminators can do that as well.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know where.
Well, they what do you mean? They always use Land Raiders.
Could they?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
Oh shit! I've just been teleporting them everywhere.
Yeah, you can use you can chuck them into Land Raiders, man.
Oh,
And-
shit.
And you didn't know this? All
Badger
this time?
discovers a tactical master plan.
Yeah, I used to just teleport them into like the back lines and have them.
Well,
flash
that
out.
works. It works.
It does work, but I thought that was like I didn't think they could go into transports because they were so like beefy.
You never read like the rent later rules? Like it says you can transport this and this.
I'm going to be honest, lads. I don't really use vehicles all that much.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
I gotta
You-
get an actual vehicle someday. Like, but I will pick up a
Oh.
Land Raider one day because you know why?
that
Because
reminds me of something.
Because-
finish, Lewis. Go ahead.
I will get a Land Raider because finally Primaris Marines can use them. Finally,
Yes.
Gravis
Yes.
Marines, Primaris Marines, we can finally use Land Raiders, drop pods. Thank you.
I can finally use the damn Land Raider Crusader on the guys that discovered the thing.
Hell yeah!
Boys, we are going home.
Rev up the Land Raider.
The boys are
But
back
nah,
in town. The boys are back
The
in town.
boys are back in town.
I love the Land Raider so much.
Yeah.
It's a model.
I think I'll get the I think it's called the Redeemer, where it has like all those heavy bolters.
I think the Redeemer is the one with the heavy flamers. I think.
Or I think it's the Crusader. I think it's the
No,
Crusader.
the Crusader is the one with the heavy bolters.
Yeah, that's one I want because it can carry more Marines.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is about time that Primaris are able to use like the more the firstborn stuff. Though,
Because it was incredibly stupid that they couldn't.
It really
I mean,
was because
yeah.
it's that whole deal of Games Workshop is starting to blur the lines more between Firstborn and Primaris. I've noticed, like how they specify that the Terminators aren't necessarily Primaris Terminators; they're just scaled up
Yeah.
Terminators.
Well, you know what? But you know what? I prefer that over something dumb like Primaris Terminators. I'll be honest with you.
I prefer it too.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, take this into account. All the Space Marine characters that have crossed the Rubicon Primaris, what have they done? They haven't all gotten new gear. They just got all their new gear, just upscale to the new size. It's something that is confirmed as a possibility. Grimaldus' armor is still the same. So is Azrael. So it's
definitely
Dante. So is
Azrael.
everyone. Calgas. Everyone just got their armor modified to fit them again.
Mhm.
So it's possible. The size difference is not that great.
Although there's that Raven Guard captain. That Raven Guard captain, he's technically in Phobos armor, not in his traditional.
Shrike.
Yeah, Shrike. Yeah, but he does have his beaky helm.
Yeah,
And that makes him awesome because he has a
Yeah.
beak.
and his emo hair.
Oh God, that emo hair.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
we're
right.
still here.
I'm back. Yeah. My audio
Oh,
just fucked
yeah.
up for a sec there.
Oh, now that I think about it, speaking about upscaling Marines and Primaris, how would a Primaris model of Tiberos the Great Wake would look? Because he's supposed to, even as a normal Marine, he's supposed to be so massive that they have to use
the
the
space
plates
shark.
of a dreadnought to reinforce the Terminator armor just for it to fit him.
I think the only
Yeah.
way that model would work is it has to be the size of an actual dreadnought.
Maybe.
or somewhere near the height of Angron. Like
I would
we're talking
buy
about,
the shit out of that.
I would buy the shit. I am perpetually in the state of almost starting a Carcharodon army. So Yeah,
Bro, you have all this plastic. Don't.
I know.
Or use the plastic you have and paint them as cauldrons. Just do that.
But then I can't paint.
Because you.
Hey,
But
kid.
you know what?
First one's for free.
It's so bad. It really is a fucking addiction, man. I can't.
Plastic
stop.
crack is an apt, description.
Because when you
Oh,
open up the box and smell the sweet smell of new plastic, that gets it going.
They use the glue fumes to weaken our minds.
I need my fix, man.
One time my mom entered my office and she's like, oh, it smells like plastic and glue in here. Lewis, go for a walk.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
But you know what? I'm going to say this right now because we're almost near that conversation. We almost avoided that conversation. But I'll bring it up now before we talk about the big guy, okay? I find Dark Angels a lot more interesting than Black Templars. I said it.
Based, Lewis.
Because you know why. I will tell you why. Black
Ladies and gentlemen
Templars-
of the audience, please note the two uncultured swine, humping as we speak. Thank you.
No, Hubrecht. I'll tell you right now, despite Badger calling me a papist, right? I will defend him on his stance that Dark Angels are a lot more interesting. I will tell you why. Black Templars might have the drip, but Dark Angels have the story. There's so much story you can get out of Dark Angels compared to Deus Vult. I am just saying.
Now, I am going to actually subvert all expectations. And I'm going to compliment the Black Templars here.
Mm-hmm. They have drip.
Oh.
They have drip.
Beyond drip, purely from a narrative standpoint, I'm going to compliment the Black Templars.
Okay.
Lewis is right that all right. Yes, Lewis is right. The Dark Angels do have more story, right?
I will agree to that, but joking aside, that's because I noticed that there's a weird thing that happens with the Templars, that they're one of the most recognizable armies, if not the most recognizable Space Marine chapter.
Mhm.
And for some reason, they're always there, but they are seldom the protagonist of a
Exactly.
story.
That
And
was the
I
thing.
cannot stand that.
Well, we're going to disagree here. I think the Black Templars shine the most when they are side characters, because. So I've read Hell's Reach.
Oh, yeah.
I've read
Everyone has.
Hellbrecht's book.
Ooh, how's
and
that
I've
one?
read Sigismund's book.
Ooh.
Okay. From reading all of those, Hell's Reach is the exception that proves the rule to me.
Ooh.
That the reason why I feel that Hell's Reach is such an iconic book is because it shows the Black Templars in a light that is closer to the story structure of a Dark Angel book, where Grimaldus is plagued with doubts. And that is something that Black Templars usually don't do because they are so, committed to the Eternal Crusade. And that was a problem that I had with Hellbrecht's book, where, yes, he had doubts and, the religious things, but I couldn't feel the struggle. Not the same way that I could with Grimaldus, where it's that he is resentful of the fact that he's been cursed to die on this world.
No, he has you there, Hubrecht. I'm just saying.
But here's the
because
thing.
A lot of times, the Black Templar character, my great shining OC is, I am devoted to the God Emperor. I have no religious doubts. Everyone who does not believe in my Bible the same way as I do will die. I'm just saying, there's only so much you can do that.
I have to disagree with that, in the sense that, first of all, by that logic, then no Sorita story works. Then
I don't think any Sorita story does work.
I have to disagree with that. I have to disagree with that as well. But here's the thing: this. I feel like authors are not being creative and because here's the thing. My problem with the Hubrecht book was not that it was badly written, but it was too short. That was my problem with it.
100% agree there. I don't think the book is poorly written, right? I do not think the book is poorly written, and Mark Collins is a good author. It was way too short, and the pacing was off.
Yes, I agree with that. But here's the thing. So here's something that I haven't read the Sigismund book, so I cannot comment on that one. But here's the thing. The Dark Angels and a lot of other Space Marine chapters have either one trilogy of books that either focus on one character and we see the chapter through the eyes of a neophyte all the way through the high echelons of the chapter, and sometimes even two trilogies of books like just dedicated to exploring the chapter and exploring their themes, right?
Yes.
The Black Templars do not have that. They have Grimaldus and Hell's Reach. They have the Hubrecht book. I mean, you can sort of count the Sigismund book in it, but it's a heresy book, so I normally do not.
No, exactly. I can agree with you there, and I wouldn't count the Sigismund book as a Black Templar book, and that is one of my biggest criticisms of that book.
But here's something that I like about, and short stories. That's what we have. But here's the thing. Something that I like about Hubrecht that I think people underestimate about Hubrecht is that Hubrecht sort of is the answer to the criticism of, Space Marines never lose. And his most famous story is him losing a duel to Imhotep, right? So I like that because I actually like that because it sets up two characters as rivals. And the Marine captain loses the first bout, and people are kind of like, that makes him an interesting character to be explored, in my opinion. But as you say, we don't have enough books in it, so I cannot exactly say, they work well as side characters more, because, I want to see them as main characters. Because at the same time, how do the Black Templars work as side characters? And the Black Templars were there, they killed everything, and then they left.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what?
I have a couple of points. I have a couple of points to make on what you just said, Hugh. You are right. The main issue with the Black Templars is that they don't have enough books to full novels about them. I will say I don't agree that their only strength as side characters is that they come, kill everything, and leave. Because to this day, my favorite Black Templar character is a side character in the Dark Imperium books who is the bodyguard of a Remembrancer. And he is, without a doubt, one of the most fun Space Marine characters I've ever read, and it shows a humanity to the Black Templars that people don't give them credit for.
Okay.
I don't remember this guy. Which Dark Imperium book was it?
I can't remember. It might be Plague Wars.
Okay.
It might be. I can't remember exactly.
I don't remember that guy. But you know what?
It might be. I don't know. It's in one of. It's been a long time since I've read those books. But it's it's like this Templar is like defending this Remembrancer from like Inquisitors, and the Templar. It's like it shows the knightliness, if you will, of the Black Templars. Where this
that's also right.
I am going to say this though, if I can say something, guys.
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
About the whole thing about Dark Angels having more story, right? The reason why I said that is because I was listening to this, audio drama for the very first time I was getting into Warhammer called Death Watch: The Last Guardian, and one of the characters in it is a Dark Angel, and he's telling his story to Asmodai about his time within the Death Watch and his final mission with his squad, right? So the squad has their own, and goals in mind. They're in like a craft world trying to find this MacGuffin, right? But the Dark Angel, as the story's going on, he actually is implied that he lets one of his brothers die, or two of his brothers die. Actually, it's implied by that, and it's definitely shown by the second person that happens, right?
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
because he had his own goal for his chapter, it does tell you that. Sorry, hold on. But because he has his own goals, right? I find that interesting, like how the Dark Angels, even when working with other Space Marines, they have their own goals. No one knows about the Fallen, and they want to keep it that way. They have their own, grand plan that they want to do, or a grand plan to get to rid
Yeah.
of the Fallen and what they're trying to do.
That's
I
kind
find
of
that
the
interesting.
thing.
I find that interesting.
Yeah,
That-
I agree with that. I'll let Hugh make his points.
Right. That's actually kind of the thing that bothers me about Angels. It's not that they do not have interesting lore. It's that the entirety of their lore consists on, seemingly legacy Space Marine chapter has a dark secret that no one can know. The secret is, of course, how the Legion turned traitor. Right. And it all hinges on that. And okay, I haven't read enough Dark Angel stuff to know this. Like the only real Dark Angel novel I've read more like listened to, is Descent of Angels, right? Which it's barely a Dark Angel book. It's more like a Caliban book, right? So part of me, it's kind of like the Dark Angels' entire cloak and dagger thing of, oh yes, we are honorable knights, but they have this entire, they pretty
I've
much
always liked
operate
King
like they
Arthur.
were the CIA.
I've always liked King Arthur stuff. They have that drip.
It's sort of, but here's the thing. The reason why I always jokingly call them History Channel Knights, it's because, well, it's kind of true. And like, in the sense that I will actually, like, I don't know if this is touched upon in a novel. I have the Dark Angels Omnibus, but I haven't had time to read anything about it. Yeah. Although, from what I understand, Dark Angel novels can be a mixed bag, and sometimes,
I can go into that.
But I don't know if it's ever been, explored the fact that, hey, we, set ourselves as, chivalrous knights, but here we are, working in the shadows with cloak and dagger. Like, how does that even work? So,
that is very heavily explored. I can
Okay.
guarantee.
Okay. Thanks. So I have something to look forward to. But but at the same time, since we know, like, as the audience, we already know what the secret is. Mm-hmm. Part of me feels like, narratively speaking, the Dark Angels will be more interesting to me if it wasn't actually if what exactly they're hiding would be more ambiguous to us. If we didn't even know about the Fallen, us as the audience.
Okay.
Like,
I can definitely agree with that, where I feel like if it's you brought this up in one of the episodes you did, where Descent of Angels would have been a stronger book if we didn't know Zahariel was a fallen angel.
Yeah.
And that's a problem I have with Zahariel's character throughout all of the Heresy. It's that we know that he is a fallen. We know that he is, Cypher. We know all that shit about him. So when it's from, we read from his perspective, it's not as interesting. I also don't like Zahariel. Fuck Zahariel. But yeah, I definitely agree that an issue with the Dark Angels, a lot of the Dark Angels books, is that they can fall into the lines of purely being the Dark Angels hunting for the Fallen, and then that's their entire personality. Others were their dicks, we're abandoning our allies, we're hunting the Fallen. It's what we do. Way I see it is that there's two authors that mainly write Dark Angels books, Gav Thorpe and CZ Dunn. Thorpe's books definitely go. I think will be more up your alley, Hugh. Especially Angels of Darkness. I think you will enjoy that book.
Right.
A major element of that book is the inner struggle of an interrogator who is like trying to decipher, is what we are doing right. That's where the Dark Angel quote, I ask myself what it means to be a Dark Angel.
Right. I will agree that that's a pretty hard quote.
Yeah.
I like,
Full quote,
for
the full quote is even better. I can get it up for you if you want.
no, leave it ambiguous till I read the thing. I rather,
Because that full quote is powerful because it's a Dark Angel having introspection, and it's like it's a moment for him. Like, are we damning the Legion more than we did on Caliban? Is this worth it? And it's why I love the Dark Angel so much. Is because I am going to be completely honest here, Hugh. You are right, and that hurts to say. You are right in terms of the Dark Angels being the nightly aspect of the Dark Angels being aesthetic, mostly. But it's like that whole they are fallen angels.
Actually, I was going to say exactly that, and I mean that in the best way, in the sense that out of all, it's pretty normal that Space Marine characters have the names of either, names pseudo-historical, pseudo-mythological, or even pseudo-biblical names.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dark Angels are the ones that have angelic names the more often. Samael, Asriel, yeah.
Ezekiel.
Right, it's Ezekiel.
Exactly. Yes.
And yeah, so they
Belial's
are...
a demon, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Belial is a demon.
Well, but Belial's a demon. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wasn't he an actual fallen angel?
Asmodeus is also a demon, but all demons are technically, all demons were angels, as you know,
Jim, but okay.
Angel.
Oh, here we go again.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the deal with the Dark Angels really is that they are even in like the Great Crusade, the knightly thing was more aesthetic than say the Templars or even the Templar orders in the Imperial Fists. I've actually just finished rereading the Lions.
Yes,
book.
and you know what?
I actually
want to ask you
through that I read like 100 pages a day to make sure it was fresh in my memory for this podcast.
Because you know what, Badger? Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, because I'm going to segue into that topic, but I just want to ask you because I imagine this is very important for you, as a Dark Angels fan, right? Okay. So, in our podcast, right, this was before Lionel Johnson's model came out and before it was confirmed that it was Lionel Johnson's model. So now that it has been confirmed, right, on that release day that, yes, Lionel Johnson has returned, here's his model, he's going to play his role in 40K. Is it everything you wished for?
Yes.
Like, his model is gorgeous, bruh. Like,
yes.
All the helmet options. The helmet options.
That's the best part of the model. Like the heads.
I love the cloaked helmet. That's my favorite of all. The cloaked helmet.
The wing helmet is the best one.
Give me wings or give me death.
Hoods. I love hoods.
Magnets.
My favorite part of the model is the pose.
Yes,
he's
striding.
Walking like the JoJo walk.
Yeah. He looks like a Dark Souls boss, man.
He looks like Tywin
He looks
Lannister.
like a Dark Souls boss.
He looks like Tywin Lannister. That's amazing.
I did not like the fact that they made him old. But
I love that idea.
No. I after reading the book and like marinating on it a bit, I love it.
Oh, okay. Now I see now.
Like Dark Souls boss, and the boss, the health bar says "Old Man Lion," something
Old
like that.
Man Lion.
Old Lion,
Yeah, the old lion.
the Old Lion.
So good. But yeah, like that model, like the quote on his Ark of Omen book, there is no greater terror hunting the Stygian void than the Lion of Caliban, which goes hard.
Yeah, it
Oh,
goes
that
hard.
goes really hard.
Like
That model
Oh,
screams
sorry.
that
Go ahead.
quote. Oh, sorry, yeah. That model screams like that quote. The Lion of
Mhm.
Caliban. I love that model so much.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I feel like I haven't read the book, and as much, grief I like to give the Dark Angels, it is an awesome model. I liked it very much. And I feel like the direction,
He
like,
has the Emperor's shield. I love
it
that.
has the Emperor's shield.
Mhm.
Something that I feel like I was worried about the Dark Angels, because we were discussing about how, if the entire personality is the secret, and well, with Lion coming back, like, how long, will they even bother, or how to keep the secret, or will they even bother to keep it anymore? If the Primarch is back, I don't care what the Inquisition says. No one, they're not fighting a Primarch. Well,
No.
maybe they are. Who knows? But
They can try.
yeah, they can try. But so if you take that away, well, what are the Dark Angels without their secrets? I feel like the model feels, and the fact that the Lionel Johnson is gathering the risen, the fallen that are not really fallen to chaos, and bringing them back into
Yeah,
the fold.
because me and Batch were talking about that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like the Lion is kind of like the Dark Angels trying to actually be the knights that they, claim to be, or, that they pertain themselves to be.
Like truly repenting, maybe.
Because
Like-
it's not about them being knights. When it comes to the there's a quote by one of the Risen, actually, that I love, that sums up what I think the Dark Angels will.
I have it here. I have the book here. I don't. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Say it.
The quote is from not like in the Lion's novel. It's from.
Okay. I thought the
Ark
campaign
of
book.
Omen book. No,
Okay.
no. This is. I apologize if this spoils anything for you, Hugh.
Yeah. No,
it's
go
fine,
ahead.
man. It's
I'll read
fine.
it
Go ahead.
anyway. Eventually.
It's a Risen talking to like a full-on Chaos Space Marine, and it's like a Slanesh Space Marine, and it's like the guy the Risen interrupts a duel, and the Chaos Space Marine is like, "This is for honor, you bastard," yada yada. And the Risen's quote is, "Did you think we conquered the galaxy with honor? You are a child."
Ooh.
And that sums up what the Dark Angels were and what they are.
Oh
Knights
man.
Knights was an aesthetic. They are the terror hunting the Stygian void. They are the exterminators, the angels of death.
Yeah.
So they were the first ones to get that moniker.
Exactly. That is what I think the Dark Angels will eventually become again. What they were in the Great Crusade. Of course, there's going to be some rocky, stuff with the Risen. I don't think every Dark Angel in the Inner Circle is going to be happy about it.
Asmodai.
Asmodai, yeah.
Like
The
they were
issue
pretty like they had a few spits with the Primaris Marines in books like War of Secrets.
Yeah, a few spiffs. That is
Yeah.
definitely a word to describe what happened to
That's a good book.
those guys.
You notice how the both knight aesthetic, the both knight chapters, not counting the Grey Knights, but who cares about the Grey Knights?
Yeah.
Fuck the Grey Knights, filthy witches. Both had spots with the Primaris.
Yep.
Like,
but yeah, no, I fully can see once the Lion does properly return, because he's kind of doing his own thing at the moment.
He's not with a chapter.
No, he's not.
He kind of is. By the end of the Ark of Omens, he is, but we don't know what's happened. We just know that Asriel has seen the lion, and
Papa's back.
Yeah, creamed his jorts.
Did they even say how he came back? Because I haven't read the Arks of Omen, unfortunately.
They don't say it in the Ark of Omen. They kind of say it in the Lion's novel.
He just woke up.
Really, it's real weird. It's a real weird thing because they never go into detail how he came back. It's like, his new forest walk ability.
Yes.
Yeah.
The novel starts with him just waking up in that forest as an old man.
So he's no longer in the rock.
No. He might not have even been in the rock at all, to be honest. We don't know.
Ooh,
Lions is a sleepwalker.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah. He's a sleepwalker.
Like, Dark Angels really do need to have all that private secrets. Yeah, because that really does make them interesting to study. Yeah,
that is something I did like about the Lions novel, is they never explicitly say, this is what the Forest Walk is, this is how he came back. There's a lot of mystery in there still.
You know
my
what?
own theory about what this Forest Walk is.
You know what? The whole Forest Walk thing makes me think that the whole theory that the souls of the Primarchs were all, nascent gods of the warp that literally the Emperor incarnated into his sons.
Yeah,
it's probably more real than we think.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And what I actually think the Forest Walk thing is I think it's where the Watchers come from.
Ooh.
It's not the warp. It's warp adjacent, but it's not the warp.
Like the webway.
Kind of like the webway, but it's described as the memory of the forests of Caliban. So I kind of interpret it as a bit of like Caliban's ghost.
Right.
Okay.
But here's the question, and that's actually very interesting concerning the walk and the watches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We know that Caliban, gigantic forest, whatever. Yeah. But it was a chaos corrupted place. Not all of it, but it was very heavily chaos corrupted.
Yeah.
So what exactly Caliban had that makes it have, a warp presence without the planet actually still existing? Well, sort of, but you know what I mean. That it's it's warp adjacent but not chaotic. Mm-hmm. The whole ancestor core thing was for Fenris because it makes sense for Fenris. But what would you add? Would it be the whole? I don't know.
So what this is actually explained a little bit in the Dark Angel stories. What it is there? So in the Ark of Omen, it is revealed that Caliban was one of the 3 keys.
Yeah, I remember that. That I remember.
And it's not necessarily Caliban itself, but it's something that is inside of Caliban, I think called the Ouroboros, which was a sort of warp incredibly powerful warp entity demon thing.
Okay.
Right.
It's a bit confusing, and it's been a while since I've read the books involving the Ouroboros, but it's like it corrupted the planet, and the Watchers were the balance. They were the guardians of the thing. That's why they're kind of the Watchers are weird. I'll say that. The Watchers are weird because they're kind of warp entities, but they're also anti-warp entities. It's a fucky thing.
You know what? That description, who does that remind me of? The Astartes themselves. Because here's the thing, the Astartes are not warp entities.
Okay.
But, the Primarchs, the Gene Seed, I don't care, it's been said many times, for all the science fiction science, the Astartes creation process involved Warcraft.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah.
I would
release the Primarchs, and then by extension the Space
Space Marine.
like I'll say this, like I've always believed that there must have been like this sort of like karma put on the emperor where he made some sort of deal with the devils, like, you know, quote unquote the chaos gods, right? He made a deal with them to try to, you know, learn how to do something like Space Marines or Primarchs, and Amar Starbuck was probably with him or something like that. They both learned how to do like, you know, Space Marines, how to make actual good super soldiers, and
Yeah.
the Chaos Gods helped them with that. But because the Emperor, you know, tried to fuck them over, they in turn would fuck him over and do, you know, the Horus Heresy, him being placed on a golden throne, all like poetic karma on him. That's just something I
Yeah.
think will always work.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I
Yeah.
definitely think that I'm with Hubrecht in that the I feel that the Primarchs, like their souls were themselves lesser warp gods that probably
Okay.
were bound, that were probably like the Emperor probably made a deal with the big four to, like, you know.
Can I take this?
Yeah, you take this. You can probably word it better than me.
But you know what?
You know.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Louis.
Sorry, if I may also interrupt, because this is something I'm actually curious about and also be funny. So, is Lionel opinion on the Imperium like how we described from the last podcast, where he'd be like Soldier Boy from The Boys?
Believe it or not, it's the opposite. I'll let Hubrecht finish his thought, and then I'll go into that.
Sure.
No, finish that first. I want to think about this a bit more.
Okay. So, the Lion has matured a lot.
Okay.
Since like the heresy, where, let me put it this way, you know, in the podcast I was on, I mentioned how the Lion would want to be War Master.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't give a shit about that anymore.
Oh.
He literally sees himself as a protector. His duty is now to protect humanity, no matter what.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Because you would
So
think he'd be a boomer, and that sort of mindset. It's like everything was so much better.
Well, what he's basically done is he's in Imperial Nihilus, and he's basically set up this little region of space called the Lion's Protectorate.
Okay.
Where it's a group of planets and star systems that are directly under the Lion and the Risen's protection.
Okay.
But he offers it. He doesn't demand it. He says, "I am Lionel Johnson, son of the Emperor, yada yada yada. Will you join the Protectorate, and, you know, I'll keep you safe." If anyone refuses, he just leaves. That's fine. You know, refuse. And it's like he's a different character. He's the same character, but he's a different character. He's like learned from his past mistakes in the heresy.
Yeah, because I know very well that the Lion was a very. I think we said this with Ineptus. My way or the highway, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know better than everyone.
You would think he'd be, because I was thinking everybody would expect him to be like King Arthur, but in actuality, he'd be Soldier Boy.
Now
Like, you know,
he's more
probably say something homophobic about the Phobos armor. Like, you telling me men dress like this now?
What the fuck are you wearing?
Yeah, man.
It's like, well, many wear like this. It's like, well, let me tell you, men back then knew how to, you know, dress properly. They wouldn't dress in that, you know, Q word armor. It's like, oh, holy shit.
But yeah, no, he's not actually met any Primaris Marines yet.
Oh.
Either. Yeah. All he has is the Risen and, like,
you know, who are the Risen? I missed that. Who are the Risen?
So what the Lion has basically done is he returns and he runs into one fallen angel on this planet, and the fallen angel tries to kill him. Because I need to go and do a little bit of
I get it now. The fallen dark angels.
The Risen.
The
Risen. Oh, why didn't I? Fuck. I sort of had that back in my mind. Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah. But basically
I like
what
that.
happened is the Lion learned that most of the, like, fallen angels on Caliban kind of had a point. Like, they didn't, like, so the only ones that actually knew that Luther fired on the Lion first were the higher ups, people like Zahariel, a character called Astalan, and Luther himself.
Okay.
the rest of the fallen angels, as far as they knew, the lion came home and just started killing them.
Okay.
So they were like,
Well, fuck this.
yeah, they were like, well, we're the ones that are betrayed. So they go into it a lot in the Lion's book, but the Fallen, it really was just a misunderstanding, and the Lion has when he's returned, he's kind of realized that maybe he shouldn't be such a raging autist, and take a minute to talk. So it's like he's forgiving,
or not be such a boomer.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be such a boomer. The guy, like, he comes back and he essentially any fallen angels he comes across will make them their way to him. If there's no chaos corruption, then he forgives them and lets them rejoin the Dark Angels. Yeah, and so that's kind of what's happened. He's matured as a character, and is now not quite as stupid.
Or not quite as like egocentric, if that's a good.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I remember in Descent of Angels that literally the Lion's the conversation with Sahariel. Well, Sahariel's literally a kid at this point, right?
Yeah.
In which, the Lion pretty much went on pretty much a Reddit rant about, those damn, traditionalists, they always held me back, exactly that. I know better than everyone else, which it does sound very contrasting to the man you just described.
Yeah, now he's literally like, he still has that ego a little bit. Like, he's still a Primarch, he's still the Lion, but it's more like he's been tempered.
And you know what? I do like that, right? I do like it where, he was very, prideful when he was younger, right? He thought, I can never do anything wrong. But because he has physically aged and because, he's seen how the rest of the galaxy is, he has finally that maturity because he has the experience now. Even though he's a Primarch, he's now experienced enough to understand that it doesn't go... the world doesn't exactly work the way they think they do. And you know what? I like that.
Yeah, and funnily enough, because I brought up the point in that podcast about the ecclesiarchy.
Mm-hmm. What do you think on that?
Yeah, he runs into people that, like, worship the Emperor, and he deals with it the same way Gilliman does.
Oh.
He denies it, but he doesn't, like, demand that they stop.
Because, this whole time I was thinking, no, get rid of it all.
Yeah, no, it's actually he's an interesting contrast to Gilliman.
Okay.
Because they are very similar now. And they both kind of have depression a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the Lion is focusing that into like protecting humanity, where Gilliman is trying to rebuild the Imperium.
That actually makes me think about, like, if the other Primarchs that will eventually return, how will they change personality-wise when they do?
No. Let me say this. I don't want all the Primarchs returning, right? I'm going to be that guy. I just don't think it'd be great that every single Primarch makes a return back. I think it's good that the fewer Primarchs that do return, the better. And maybe we should just keep it at Gilman or Lion, or maybe at best Lehman. All I'm just saying is that I think it's good that there's still that whole mystery that, where have these heroes of legends gone? And some of them might not even ever make a return. Because some of them either go into the warp or just get lost somewhere where they're just now lost relics of the past. And now the Primarchs that have returned, there's still that, sadness that not every single of their brothers are going to come back one day.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair enough.
I think it should be like that.
I can kind of agree with that, but I think the problem with that is GW. This is old news, so they could have easily changed it. But I think somewhere it mentioned that the GW did bring up that all of the Primarchs will be coming back. But I think if that happens, it'll be like a 40K's version of the End Times.
No, we do not
No,
need end
please,
times
no.
40k. And maybe this is a reference to Horus Heresy. Maybe redoing their models for the ending of Horus Heresy. Maybe. But
Maybe,
no,
yeah.
we do not need 40k end times. And they said years ago, we're not doing 40k end times.
Like, if all the Primarchs return, and hopefully there's no 40k end times, hopefully they'll keep to that. It's going to be either a mess or who knows, maybe they find a way to have them all there and, make things still feel like,
But
the
what would the point
Imperium's on the
be?
back foot, right?
But what would the point be of doing 4K end times? They only did end times for fantasy because it was just not making money.
Yeah,
It was their
Exactly, yeah, well,
it was their
and to
solution.
be fair,
do you know
to
how
be
much
fair,
money? Do you not know how much money 4K makes them?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
It's not going to happen like
narratively speaking, technically, the end times have been happening all the way for 10,000 years. Technically,
True. It's that whole deal. As for Primarchs like returning, I think, I don't want them all to return, but I also think it's impossible for them all to return. Like how would they handle Corvus returning?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also a question of not only narrative, like GW is a business, right? So it's not only a question of of the narrative, it's also a question of business. Okay, which Primarch would sell more if they came back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like which who plays Raven God more? Who plays Raven God more than White Scars, or White Scars more than Salamanders?
Yeah,
But I can definitely see Lehman returning.
I was going to say, let's face it. In terms of a purely business strategy,
Yeah, it'll be Lehman.
Lehman's the next one coming back.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Space Wolf players out there.
Oh, the
business-wise,
fucking worst.
Business-wise, it would be Lehman, in my opinion, on the loyalist, because I think the traitors will all come back eventually.
Oh yeah, traitors, definitely.
Because it's easier for the traitors to come back. It would be business-wise, the Primarchs that, are not officially dead, so no Ferrus, no Sanguinius, would be Lehman, Dorn, and Vulcan. Yeah. Lehman, Dorn, and Vulcan.
Kinda.
I don't know. I think you could replace Vulcan with
Jagatai.
Jagatai, because the White Scars have been getting a bit of a boom in popularity.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yes.
And you know what? I'm going to actually bring that up. Well, soon I'm going to bring that up, but I'm going to have one last thing I want to ask you guys, right? Because we're talking about the worst fan base. Why is it on Reddit stories whenever there's some kind of spurg at a Games Workshop store, when someone's telling a story, almost all the time the spurg is either a Dark Angels or a Black Templar fan? Or how come the worst people online are the ones with Dark Angels or Black Templars on their profile? I said it.
I resent that.
I also.
Well, you were telling me about that too. You were telling me about that, Badger. You were telling me about that.
Yeah, that is true. I did tell you about that. Well, I think it is.
It might be in bad faith, but it's gonna make a good segment for the podcast. Why is that? The most autistic screeching people, and I can say that because I have a little autism. That I can use that card.
I think we all do.
Probably. But,
probably.
What I think it is with the Black Templars, and I really hate to say this because it's such an overdone, bullshit point that's not actually it's barely a percentage of Black Templar people, but there is a very small, infinitely small niche of assholes that would look at the Templars and be into them for reasons that are not ideal.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about, and I hate that. I literally despise that, because here's the thing: this cuts both ways. They're not. Some people think that the Black Templars are representing something that they're not, and then there's idiots that completely keep, I'm not gonna say spreading misinformation because I hate that word. Spreading bullshit about it's you know it's a satire of fascism. Look at the Black Templars. Yes, because because the Third Reich was famous for going on crusades in the name of God.
You know what, Hubrecht, I will say this because you made a great point. Because not only because they will try to use that sort of thing to talk shit about like deathcore of Krieg and shit. Like I remember this one YouTuber. I'm not going to say his name. But he was
Don't
like,
get me started on the
there's so
deathcore.
much baggage for deathcore of Krieg. Gain plastic models. Much baggage, and it's like
fuck them.
Either you're very I know the politics of the guy, but I also think you're just not doing this in good faith. Because I don't think
historical illiterates. That's the term.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
because they will try to say, because a small amount of idiots like these guys, therefore the whole thing's contaminated. It's like fuck that.
Fuck you. Go ahead, Badger. Sorry.
I was going to say it's to Lewis's point of why does it always seem to be Black Templar and Dark Angel fans, which I don't agree with. The fans I've always had the most issue with in terms of being assholes have been Craftworld fans.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because from the perspective of like me and Hugh, who are Dark Angel and a Black Templar fan, it's always been the Craftworld fans that jump to conclusions and seem to have a superiority complex.
Badger,
okay.
Let me tell you a small anecdote. Once I got, someone tried to lecture me. A Craftworld fan tried to lecture me on how the Imperium is evil because apparently the Craftworlders were an analogy to the northern Native American tribes.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yes, and I was like, what? Like
they're Atlanteans.
What?
They're Atlanteans. Like this is like a metaphor. They are a metaphor.
They're elves.
Okay, maybe not
They're
metaphor.
Elves. They're not Navajo. They're elves. What the fuck are you talking about?
Dark Angels are closer to the fucking Native Americans than the Craftworld.
No, it'll be the Raven Guard, bro.
Some of the old Dark Angel lore might disagree with you there,
but anyways, what I'm saying is that the Eldar, right? Their whole lore is kind of like a reflection of the people of Atlantis. The people who eventually fall into like degeneracy and pleasure because of their riches and wealth, and eventually this caused the island to like sink from the wrath. Yeah.
I can see that. I've never seen it like that before. To be fair,
I mean, I think that it's a bit of I do see the Atlantis parallel, and I mean, considering that the High Elves and fantasy literally Ulthuan is literally Atlantis, it's seated on the spot where Atlantis is supposed to be. But I also see it as the moral decadence of the high echelons of the Roman Empire. You know what I mean, with all the orgies and the assassinations and the and I mean with the Eldar, there were orgies with assassinations because Dark Eldar.
Orgies of assassination.
Orgies of assassination.
But you know what? Despite our disagreement, despite our spits between Dark Angels and Black Templars, right? I will say this: something all three of us can agree on, and we did mention this before. We all like White Scars, yeah, or appreciate them.
Yeah, White Scars are great.
And
my only real issue with the White Scars, sorry, Lewis, is that the modern 40k models, like the White Scars, do not have modern 40k models that look Mongol enough. That's my only issue.
No. Korsoro Khan is Mongolian as
well. Yeah, but he's a character.
Look at some of the
but in the upgrade kits, you can carry a head on the guy's hand, like he holding a decapitated head. That's fuck. Metal as fuck.
No, yeah, it is. But what I mean, like, listen to what Badger's saying. Like, some of the Forge World White Scar stuff is, oh man, like that's proper, Mongol aesthetic.
Yeah.
the Contemptor Dreadnought for the White
Oh
Scars.
yes,
Ooh,
yes. With the plumed the plumed head.
And you have like the Keshig.
The Keshig, yes.
Oh man,
And you know what,
White Scars are so cool.
comparing them to Space Wolves, right? The White Scars are, Mongolian aesthetic. The Space Wolves are Viking cosplay. That makes a huge difference.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
And you know what? There was probably a huge rise to their popularity because of the pandemic with the discovery of Mongolian throat singing.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah, probably.
Like, I'm just saying, play their music, like the Hue, play the music in with White Scars art, and that gets the blood pumping.
Hell yeah.
Pretty much.
Like,
There's few things that are quite as hype as like painting White Scars and listening to the fucking Who.
because I was actually wanting to paint White Scars years ago when Khosrow's Khan model came out.
Yeah.
I always had this idea of doing a White Scars force, but I didn't end up doing it. Yeah, but I didn't end up doing them all a White Scars force because I couldn't find the Primaris bikers, and they just weren't available at the time, or they weren't available when I wanted them. And at the same time, I was painting another army that was white, so I thought of doing something different, and that's when I decided to do Blood Ravens instead.
Yeah.
But still, there's always that little unfortunateness that I never really did get to do White Scars because they are metal as fuck.
Yeah. I really, really hope that they get another upgrade kit that makes them look more Mongol. Like we were talking about earlier about upgrade kits, and the other rest of unique aesthetic chapters need like a Black Templar level of quality upgrade sprue, because it is the fact that the White Scars look as plain in Modern 40k as they do, or at least normally do. It's an insult to the whole theme that they have going on.
Exactly, because so I don't know whether you two would have noticed this, but I remember when the rumors for the Lion coming back was like still fresh. A few people were actually thinking that he would like secede fully from the Imperium and like take the Dark Angels and begin a different empire.
I was hearing something about that.
Yeah, I heard about that as well.
I think if any Primarch were to do that, it would be Jagatai and the White Scars.
Well, yeah, Jagatai was never really the closest to the Emperor.
And he was never overly keen on the Imperium as a societal structure.
Oh, I must have missed that. Or I haven't gotten that far in the Horus Heresy books.
Yeah,
so
they go into it in his Primarch book a bit, where he's very dissatisfied, but he's also smart enough to know that the Emperor, like, you're not going to be able to beat the Emperor. So, if you can't beat him, join him. But with the Emperor, in his current state, if the Khan were to come back, I do think that there is a more than 0% chance that he might just dip and like take the White Scars with him, and then
maybe do a little White Scars Empire, maybe.
However, I do think that maybe that's not. Maybe he would have this sort of. Maybe he would do that, but at the same time, after the siege and everything that happened, like, I know that he bonded with Dorn and Sanguinius quite a lot, once before that he was like the very distant and weird brother that, no one knew what to make of him.
Yeah.
And I know that he bonded a lot with Dorn and Sanguinius. Maybe that would stop him from doing that. But definitely Jagatai would not be satisfied with the more restrictive aspects of the Imperium, although at the same time he's smart enough to know that, chaos. But it's very difficult. Like, that's kind of like, I think that's kind of the whole point of Jagatai, like trying to predict how he would react if when he comes back, what he would do. It's actually what he will actually do about it.
We don't really know anything about him.
Yeah, ironically enough, we know more about the Lion, the secrets guy, than we know about Jagatai.
Yeah.
That is right. And there's something I've noticed too, and maybe you guys can share this opinion on this. You know how in Warhammer Fantasy, like the ogres, because the ogres in Warhammer Fantasy are meant to be like, reflecting on, they are basically Mongolians. That's just one of the little themes for the ogres, right? You know how they wear the belly armor, like it's a giant rounded shield.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that Korsoro Khan has something like that? He has like the rounded shield on his like gut or belt.
Yeah, I think that's I don't remember what's the name of that piece of armor, but I know that's I know there is some actual historical adjacent piece of armor regarding that whole.
Yeah, I also aren't too sure on what it's called, but I know what you mean. So I think like maybe having
because the whole point is that if they had something like that for like White Scar Smalls, like upgrades brew wise, that'll be very fitting. And also I think it does sort of reflect like Warhammer Fantasy, ogres, intentional or not, but it is like sort of interesting, like who are the best Mongolians, the ogres or the White Scars? But of course, White Scars.
Yeah.
Ogre fans are like, they're the worst. I don't like ogre fans.
Really?
Really?
They're usually the worst kind of people on Reddit. It's like, for some reason, most of them are communists.
That's fucking.
Wait,
hilarious.
what?
Isn't the whole deal of ogres that they eat a lot, and that's not a very communist thing.
Or I don't know. I think they didn't do that on purpose, but it's like, oh, you see ogres, Warhammer Fantasy ogres are communists. It's like fat and ugly. It's like, yeah, no.
Fat, ugly, and dumb.
In denial.
Always starving.
But you know what? I'm going to ask Badger this because, this is a probably very fitting question, right? So, because the Mongolians occupied Turkey for a time, do you think there's this bit of White Scars lore where one of them has to fuck a wolf girl to become the next Khan?
I will have you know that the Mongols do not fuck wolves. That is our...
No. I did not say a wolf that's a girl. I said a girl that's a wolf. There's a difference, bruh. Pay attention.
I don't know. Well, Jagatai Khan is supposed to be near Komara at the moment. I could see them having.
No. I mean a pure wolf girl on Chikorish.
Badger. That place is called Fenris. What are you talking about?
No, not Fenris girl. I said a Chikorian wolf girl, right? Like the Turkish wolf girl. And to people who might not know, there's like some kind of like a spiritualism from like ancient Turkey, right? Where there's like this, wolf girl lore, or what's that about?
What it is basically it's the Turkic, not necessarily Turkish, but the Turkic like foundation myth, like where Turks came from, is that there was a boy in the steppes of Central Asia whose village was attacked by enemies and so on. It's not an in-depth legend because Turks, I don't think, like ancient Turks, didn't really have written records. But yeah, it's the foundation myth is basically that this kid's village was attacked. He was saved by a she-wolf, not a wolf girl, a full-on she-wolf. Fucked it, and then the offspring then of that she-wolf that was part wolf in themselves, then ended up founding the Turkish Khanates.
Well, in my point of view, it is a wolf girl, right? And I can understand. Yes, I can understand why Romulus and Remus would drink wolf
Romulus
girl
and Remus will be horrified. You fucked your mother?
or I can understand why they would drink wolf girl milk. I can understand that.
Oh yeah.
Like Badger thinks he has
that sounds so furry.
No, Badger might think he has a monster fucker license. I have a monster fucker license, and that's I will give him my Wendigo girl for his Turkic wolf girl. We will trade.
That is a fair trade, sir.
Right, and I will create
Audience,
the
you
new.
see what kind of people I hang out with.
No, this is not furry. This is not a furry.
Cultured
Hubrecht.
individuals. We are
Hubrecht, this is not furry, right?
Yeah, that's
this is
what a
not
furry
guy.
would
This is not a lady dressed like a wolf. This is a girl wolf. A girl that is a wolf.
of furry.
It is
That's
a
not-
girl wolf.
Yeah.
Sir. This is cultured, not degenerate. Goddamn. You know, I've told that little piece of like mythological knowledge to a lot of people, and I don't think anyone has taken a shine to it quite as hard as Lewis has.
Yes, from what I can gather, that's true.
Hell yeah.
Not ashamed. Not ashamed.
Hell no.
Because
Yeah,
I
do
even did a
find
meme
that-
on that. I did a meme on that where it's like, where it talked about different founding myths like Greek, English, and then there's, Turkic. But I changed the, Mongolian with a white scar. It says, he who fucks this girl wolf becomes the next Kong. Remember that?
Yeah, exactly. I do remember that. That was a good meme.
My dad's like,
But,
my dad's like, Lewis, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
we are talking about my proud heritage. But yeah, no, I always I find that funny because there is actually this ethno-nationalist group in Turkey that are basically terrorists, and their symbol is the wolf.
Oh,
And when you know
dang.
the
Ah,
reason behind
dang.
that, when you know the reason behind that, it makes it a little bit more funny.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But I actually just remembered of this. Last thing about white scars before we get to the Q&A. We were talking about like upgrade sprues and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually gave this idea once where because white scars also had a thing of psychers, So
Yeah.
Yeah.
imagine this white scar psyker, right? He's doing like his, warp, skills and all that. But imagine there's like some shamanism in that where from this like warp, I'm going to call it warp magic. From that, it comes like this, falcon or something, where it's sort of like to sort of reflect on Mongolian, shamanism, to make it look like,
Mm-hmm.
I think-
a psychic creature made from him, and all that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
Because the reason
Have you guys seen what Tengris shamans dress like?
No.
I have seen it before. I have not seen it enough to be able to describe it from memory, but I know
One
Tengris shamans have a particular way of dressing.
because
In fact-
because I actually had this idea for a model where it's the librarian, but I'm using one of like the celestial birds from the Stormcast Eternals to make it look like it's from his warp skills.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea for a model.
Yeah.
is a very good idea. Let me share this picture in the chat a minute.
I'll probably even share it on the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 second. And this is like the sort of attire a Tengris shaman might wear. Just
Yeah.
Oh, that's metal.
Well,
That will work
imagine-
so well
imagine
as a white
something-
scar.
yeah, imagine something like that as a white scar shaman.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Well, whoa. Now that I think of White Scar Shaman, imagine a White Scar Chaplain with details like that.
Yes.
Oh, that would be great.
Buddy, yes. That's the best thing about the Mongolians. They don't have to, white scars. They don't just have to be, from mainland Mongolia, right? From the lands they've occupied.
Yeah,
Use
like-
something like this. Use something like Turkish lore. This,
Turkic groups, and Badger here will back me up on this. It's more than just, what you, like most people think of when they think the Turks, like Turkish,
Mhm.
Turkic, nomads are kind of like a very broad umbrella of different.
I mean, there's a whole political ideology called Pan-Turkanism, which is basically about unifying all the different Turkic ethnicities. So, like, Turkish, like Anatolian Turkish, Uzbeks, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, Like
Mhm.
they are
Mongols themselves are included on that, or
Mongols not white. They are like adjacent. Think of
Right.
Mongols and
Kazakhstan?
yeah, kind of like that. Like cousins, like a cousin.
Right.
I was trying to think of an Iberian one, but I don't know Iberian ethnic. Kind of like Castilian and Aragonese, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, like Castilians, ethnic wise, like in the Iberian Peninsula, the most, ethnically, aware people, or are kind of like very more,
Catalians, isn't it?
yeah, determined on the whole. Oh, we're our own ethnicity is the Basques.
Ah, okay.
Yes, the Basque country, and in Mexico itself. Well, I haven't really heard of anything that has gotten quite a lot of traction on its own ethnicity, except maybe native tribes that are still living in their lands. But other than that, nothing quite that strong because, well, kind of like Mexico's in.
Yeah, let me try it like this instead. Think of the Turks and the Mongolians in a similar sense. You would think of like the Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
those are not exactly friends either. But yeah,
No,
I think what you mean. I think I know what.
Where they're very culturally similar, but they are not.
But they're distinct enough that they're their own thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And do not call the Scots Northern English. They will beat the shit out of you.
They will beat the shit out of you. I was recently in Scotland, and I was like, I mean, I didn't hear people spitting at the English, but definitely, when you start looking around, you start seeing small details that you see that, maybe the heads have cooled, but the resentment's still there.
It's more of medieval resentment, if anything.
Oh no, it's not only medieval, it goes beyond the medieval period into the modern one as well.
Jacobite rebellions.
Jacobite rebellions.
Okay, moving on.
Forever.
Moving on before we get spicy. Moving on.
All right, yeah, moving on.
Maybe I'll delete that.
Don't worry.
No, it'll be fine.
That's not really that controversial. In my opinion, it's not.
It'll be fine.
But anyways, I actually think it's a good time for us to reach to the Q&A if you guys are interested.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. First question is, who would win an arm wrestling contest between you three?
Me.
Me.
No.
Realistically speaking, you're shorter than us, Badger, and I work out at Lewis, so yeah, me.
I have mass.
I have mass as well.
Of course you have mass. You're both Catholic.
Shit.
Oh, you're a genius. You did it again. Congrats.
But
no, yeah, it'd be me.
No, me.
Okay, we get it.
Pussy.
Beach.
And
How dare you?
here's a good one.
Anyway.
What story would you make if you had the opportunity and resources to helm a Warhammer movie/show?
Oh.
So would this be a canon story, like adapting a written novel?
I would
or
say so.
Would this be something of our own creation?
No fan fiction.
Damn it. For me, like leaving, I'm going to assume that because of this, there's already, people are already aware of 40K, so I will be very predictable and say Hell's Reach.
Yeah, Hell's Reach was a good one. I was thinking Hell's Reach, too, to be honest.
How about Eisenhorn?
Eisenhorn's a bit cliche. That you said.
Yeah. Like I didn't want to say Eisenhorn exactly because of that. By the way, like I'm gonna stray here for a bit, but any word on that show that we're supposed supposed to come out.
It takes a while to do this sort of thing, dude.
Yeah, I know, but it seems like it has been a long time now.
Yeah, but I've also heard no news from it. Like, it's a little concerning that there's nothing.
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, I at least have faith that Henry Cavill is behind it, so it's likely going to respect the source material.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's like knowing me, I would definitely like do something from Gotrek and Felix.
Yeah, I was thinking
an animated series. Yeah,
in terms of fantasy, Gotrek and Felix would be good.
Mm-hmm.
What would I do? I would actually really like a Warhammer crime novel put into it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, like the Bloodlines book by Chris Raitt.
I literally have it in a pile next to the place where I'm sitting at. I'm waiting to read that.
It's so good. It is so good. I love that book so much because I feel that a Warhammer show or movie would be best if it doesn't rely too much on the bombastic elements.
Yeah, that'd be way too expensive for them, and
instead told a traditional story with a coat of 40k paint.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
like how the Eisenhorn stories are like Bond movies with 40k paint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Warhammer crime novels are like that because all of the Warhammer crime novels are set in the same hive city, and it's like the perspective of the little people.
Right. Speaking of that, I mean, I agree with that. How I would, start making 40k live action series or movies would be to slowly do that. You do a traditional story but set in 40k, and slowly build up to the more bombastic stuff until then we're on full blast eventually. Because let's face it, we all want to see the apocalyptic battles of 40k, but I don't think they should be the first thing that hits us. It should be like built up. I think I've said this in a podcast before.
Like, like dethaw the frog, in a sense, like let it thaw out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you want to start with something from like a perspective of a regular citizen or even an inquisitor, and then build your way up to something like Hell's Reach.
I've said this before, like, for example, something to, like, literally sell you the gravitas of the things that are our armies in 40k. Slowly build yourself up. Like, I've said this with Ineptus, Lewis, but remember how terrifyingly described and horrifying the prospect of a single Chaos Space Marine was in the original Eisenhorn novel.
Yes.
One guy, just one.
Yeah, and even then,
I even said that in a video. Like, at least
I love. Sorry, you go ahead, Ellis.
Sorry, I even said that in a video I did actually about Eisenhorn, that if they were to do just one Space Marine, have it be that Slaneshi, Chaos Marine, have it be him.
What was his name? Mandrago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just have him be the only Space Marine that we see for a long while, so that we can see just how huge these guys are, the atmosphere they have.
Exactly. That they are angels.
Yeah.
And here we see a fallen angel.
Essentially, yes.
Exactly.
Like it would be. I would like them to emphasize to people just how rare it is to see a Marine. And now that they finally see one, is the type of Marine you do not want to meet. This is not a heroic angel of death. This is something worse than a monster from your worst nightmares.
Exactly. That first Eisenhorn book was great.
Yeah.
So I got my mum into 40k.
Nice.
All right. I remember that you mentioned.
Yeah.
To me, it's the idea of getting my parents to, read 40k to me is hilarious. That would never happen.
It was fun for me too, because I also did not expect my mum to actually end up being into it, and then she went through the entire Eisenhorn trilogy.
And it's like the best I can do is show my parents like, Warhammer trailers, like the animated ones. And my dad commenting, this looks like Starship Troopers. Because I was showing him the Leviathan one.
Well, it's close enough, I would say.
Yeah, close enough.
And he said your sister got into Warhammer. It's like, that's amazing already.
Yes, I managed to get my sister into Warhammer, and she is really getting into it now. She's starting to actually do her own research into the lore. And has
That's
started
cool.
and has started a Flesh Tearers army.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice choice.
Yeah, she's a big Sanguinius fan, and she likes the bad guys a lot.
The bad boys.
She really likes Flesh. Yeah, she likes the Flesh Tearers. She's a big Thousand Sun fan too.
See, I imagine
the Thousand Suns are kind of difficult too. Are kind of difficult to dislike. Even for a witch hating psychopath like myself.
Oh yeah. But yeah,
because I'm just saying, when my sisters go into a like Warhammer story, especially the younger ones, she's like, "Oh my god, gross! Like all this plastic. Why is this a game? Like gross, ew."
yeah.
My own sisters is kind of like, oh, it's cool that you have that hobby. I don't really get it. Sounds cool, but good for you. Like the one with he likes in my family, it's me and me alone. Like even if like my family can say, "Oh, that's cool," but they will not, look into it or anything like that.
No.
Oh, I read this book. Oh, well, is there a series I can watch? No. Oh well, shame.
Yeah. Well, when lockdown happened, I didn't give them a choice. They were going to listen to me talk about Warhammer, or they weren't going to listen to me talk.
My dad be like, "Why can't you do drugs or play sports or something?" Not even like do drugs. Why can't you like smoke weed or play sports or something or go on dates?
I remember that. Sorry, man, but I remember that. You buy so many of this stuff. Shut up! It's my money. I can do what I want. Like I told to my dad, and I'm like, I never thought that my son's addiction would be like buying plastic minis, and I'm like, hey, be grateful. We live in narco land. I could be doing cocaine and heroin right now. Like be grateful that this is my addiction is this.
Yeah, could.
And like he was like, yeah, touche. Okay, fair enough.
Could always be worse.
Could always be worse.
Yeah.
Does your dad like Warhammer Badger?
Oh hell no. He is the one that I can't budge on.
Okay.
Because he would never like. He still gives me shit for buying toys. He says.
Oh.
And then similar to Hugh, it's like, listen, I earned this money. I will do it. I will do with it as I please.
Like
they don't give me a hard time, but it's kind of like very quaint to them because it's not exactly. If it's a niche hobby in in the places where it's prevalent, like England or the US. Like imagine in Mexico where we don't even have a GW branch.
Imagine in Turkey too, where it's like
fair enough.
No one else knows about it.
Yeah.
It's like my dad's obsessive with stuff, but with Warhammer, he's like, I don't get this. Star Trek's better.
Fuck that.
Fuck that.
Star Trek is for sissies, and we all know it.
No, it's like he's the sort of person that's like, oh, I hate this new thing. Oh, the old thing was better. And you play like this.
I can imagine you saying, but Dad, violence. Violence. That thing that, the Star Trek being like, oh, diplomacy is more important. Violence is not the answer. Warhammer being like, kill them all. The Emperor sorted them out.
Yeah, in Warhammer, violence is not the answer. It is the question.
And the answer is yes.
Like, don't get him started on Spireverse. He's like, oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate this. Blah. But it's like, dude, you don't read comic books at all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, that's another story for another time.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's another story for another time, actually. But moving on, I think.
Yes.
Here's a good one. Istanbul or Constantinople?
Istanbul.
Constantinople.
You know what?
Constantinople.
Despite me being a papist, the Byzantines have drip. Okay, bronze and purple goes hard as fuck.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but
clearly it doesn't go hard
Constantinople.
enough for them to still be around.
To be fair, they kind of asked for it, filthy traitors.
Yeah, well.
Well, no, the Templars fucked them over by invading Constantinople.
Wait, what? Wait,
Didn't
what?
they? Didn't they? The Templars invade Constantinople in Fourth
No,
Crusade?
it was not the Templars. It was the Fourth Crusade. But
Okay,
you know,
that's
they
what I meant.
bitch about that all the time. You know, but the reality is, I did a paper on that, and it's kind of like, yes, it was a tragedy. Yes, it was a very big screw up. But it was not as cut and dry as, oh, the Fourth Crusade decided to sack Constantinople. What
I know
happened
that.
is,
I know that.
yeah.
I know there's a lot of things that went into that. I know that.
Yes, but the thing is, honestly, the sacking occurred like almost 3 centuries before the Turks, not the Turks, the Ottomans, to be specific, managed to take the city. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you are like, you should have recovered by then. Come on.
If you can't recover in nearly 300 years, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know? That's the deal with people like to suck up to Byzantium history, but they were their own worst enemy.
Yeah, I actually we have talked about this a lot. Like people, and I agree with that. Like I like Byzantium. They have an interesting history, a fascinating culture, but like people sometimes put them as, oh, these were the best thing ever in the Middle Ages, and I'm like, literally most of the disasters Byzantium was involved with were of their own making. They literally had civil wars almost daily.
It's not like it was just the Turks constantly,
Yeah, it wasn't like
there's a reason like the
Okay.
Turks, went as far as they did. It's because Byzantium was often too busy fighting themselves.
Yeah, pretty much. There was a part of the Middle Ages where being the Basileus was the most dangerous position in the world. They got assassinated so often it was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Although, unlike with the Caesars, it was not by their own bodyguard. So there's that.
Didn't the Praetorians always betray the emperor?
Yes, but in the Roman Empire at its height, like in the Byzantine Empire, the Varangians did not betray their emperors.
The Varangians, that's what I meant. Like the Varangians are hard metal. Vikings, and like Byzantine.
Varangians were loyal. They actually, say what you will, they were loyal.
Yeah, they were loyal. Like
that tells you
the Praetorians.
That sort of tells you that if you want to be a good, emperor, don't have local bodyguards, have foreign bodyguards.
I mean, you say that, but look at the Janissaries.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, they didn't end up doing too great for us. That's why I often give the Ottomans a bit more slack when it comes to Devshimir and like that version of slavery. Of course, slavery is slavery. It's awful.
Go John Brown on everybody who tries to justify that.
Hell yeah. But the deal with the Ottoman type of slavery was that with Devshimir, where they would take the Balkan boys, they would often end up becoming incredibly powerful in and of themselves. Like the amount of viziers that were taken by Devshimir is pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, it happened a lot. It's actually kind of interesting to note that in the Latin West, there was mobility, but it was a far more controlled mobility. But in the East, there was this entire situation where more than once a slave rose through the ranks, ended up in court, and just offed the Sultan or the Caliph and became it, right?
I mean, even in the Ottomans, the Suleiman the Magnificent's wife was a slave.
Yeah, Suleiman the Magnificent's wife was a slave.
Yeah, and even then, when you go into
that'll make a good movie. Interesting film.
There's a TV show about it. There's a TV show about it in Turkey called Muhteşem Yüzyıl. Mm-hmm. It's one of the better ones. But Hugh, while I'm on the topic of Turkish TV, You need to check out the Ertugrul.
Yeah,
TV.
Turtle.
You will hate it.
Oh boy.
I have a very good idea as to why.
Let me put it in this way.
Be brave.
A group of 5 Turkish nomadic warriors take on an entire bastion of Templars.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but bullshit.
This sounds like that scene in Lord of the Rings where Gimli and Aragorn are fighting orcs on the bridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
How it is. But yeah, it's a very entertaining show, but it's also hugely bullshit.
Or where they're jumping into people lifting up spears in the sky in Lord of the Rings. Spears and long blades.
Yeah.
But the difference is that goes hard because it's dwarf and man fighting orcs.
Yeah.
That's the
These
difference.
were not rabble of orcs, these are Urukai.
Because as a dwarf,
Their
you are
swords are thick and their shields broad.
nice
You've
roll of the
seen
tongue,
that.
dude.
Hey, it's part of the language, right?
Oh yeah. But yeah, the deal with the Janissary was the Janissary ended up fucking us over really hard, but I can't blame them because we did take them from their homes. Funnily enough, the times when the Janissary started to get weaker was when they started letting freedmen in. So who knows?
Yeah, that's actually quite a bit of irony.
It is. Yeah.
There's quite a bit of irony in that, funnily enough.
And if I may move on with one last question, I think, for this season.
Go ahead.
It's actually part of a question, but we already the question involves favorite Space Marine chapters, but we all know already from each other.
Gee, I wonder.
Um,
I'm pretty keen on the Ultramarines myself.
Yeah, well, the codex is awesome, man.
Yeah. for me at least, I'll pick 3. Right, obviously Ultramarines because my Space Marine character, right. The Mjolnir, the Space Marine chapter,
Yeah.
we are successors of Ultramarines.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we're our quote name are stepsons of McCraig, or no, stepsons of Ultramar.
Fair enough.
But also salamanders and blood ravens, of course.
Right.
I just really do like salamanders. When I read them for the first time, they were awesome.
I do like salamanders.
I like the salamanders. I think that they sometimes people cut them too much slack, but I like them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But as for sorry, what?
Yeah, my top 3, not counting the Dark Angels or any of their successors, would probably be the Carcharodons, White Scars, and
It's okay. It's okay.
probably Loyalist only. I'm trying to think. That's a good question. Probably salamanders too. I like the salamanders a lot.
Base. But the thing is that it actually has a very interesting question that tags along with it, because this is the more exciting one I want to bring up. But which chapter is your least favorite? That's something I think I haven't heard so much from you guys.
I'll let you take this one first.
That's actually quite a big question because I don't really think there's a chapter that I outright hate.
I don't hate a Space Marine chapter, but the one I find sort of lame is one that's called Marines Malevolence. It's I'm sorry, it just sounds like Sal the Hedgehog edginess. It just sounds like someone trying to be like, oh, this is 4K, grim, dark, super serious, Marines Malevolence. And it's like, what kind of fucking guy names a Space Marine chapter Marines Malevolence? It sounds like you're trying way too hard, bro. I'm sorry. I'm saying.
And this is coming from a franchise that a lot of the so over the top and full of gravitas that you would think most of it is trying too hard, but it works.
exactly.
Yeah, but sorry, that
Ah.
doesn't work for
Yeah,
me. It's just the
fails.
name itself. It's lame.
Yeah, I don't like the Marines Malevolent. They're not my least favorite. The easy answer here is Space Wolves. I don't like
Okay,
Space
yeah.
Wolves. I've already gone into why I don't like the Space Wolves.
We talked about that.
Yeah, my second least favorite chapter of Loyalist Space Marines are the Minotaurs.
Oh yes, the Minotaurs. Yes, the Minotaurs. Yeah.
Bureaucrats.
Like, how did they make Space Spartans so unlikable?
Yeah, how dare they basically make the Minotaurs, who have a really cool aesthetic, the attack dogs of the Taxman?
Yeah. The tax collectors. Yes, that's a pretty good analogy. Tax collectors.
They are literally they're tax collecting loan sharks.
Or
The loan sharks. More sharks than the actual chapter of sharks.
I know, they're the Adeptus IRS.
no. What's the who owns Magic the Gathering? Hasbro?
They're the Wizards of the Coast.
Oh my God.
What are they called? The guys who, BLP
Wizards of the Coast. That's the name of the company. Wizards
yeah, I know,
of the
but
Coast.
who's the people that they've sent? What are they called again?
Oh, the Pinkertons.
Pinkertons. That's basically what they are, aren't they? Pinkertons.
Yeah, they can't
Pinkertons.
Yeah. My God, I can't stand them though. It sucks because they do have a really cool aesthetic.
They do, and that's why I made my Stormcast into like Greek Spartans because that's awesome, and part Byzantine because of the purple and bronze. It goes so
that's
hard.
good.
I'm Greg. Give me your butthole.
Oh man,
maybe that's something the Minotaur said to the Lamenters, like, "I'm Greg. Give me your butthole."
Probably. I mean, considering everything that happens to the Lamenters, I think perforated rectum is the least of their troubles.
Yeah, a little bit of prison loving.
There's nothing more manly than going to town on the pussy.
A fucking man.
I would say the Minotaurs as well. I mean,
The what?
I would say that the Minotaurs as well are my least because of what Badger says. They're the attack dogs of the High Lords, and then it's kind of like, okay, when the High Lords try to mount, well, some of the High Lords try to mount a coup on Gilliman. They attempted to destroy the phalanx.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who said this, but I remember that if you attack the phalanx, not only will you make an enemy of the Imperial Fist, you will make an enemy out of the entire Adeptus Astartes, because that's how much people respect the Imperial Fist, even if GW does not. But in universe, it's the other Guardians of Terra. It's the Fortress of Dawn. They're one of the most.
They're the only Space Marines that are allowed on Terra.
Yeah. And you will make an enemy out of the Imperial Fist, the entire gene line, which includes the Crimson Fist, the Templars, and the Hammers of Dawn, the Revilers, the Executioners, all of them. One of them, which is literally a legion, and the blood, and all the other gene lines as well, because no Astartes chapter will stand for that, and the only people that stood with the High Lords were, you guessed it, the Minotaurs. Yes.
Also, they're apparently Iron Warrior gene seed. So
so it makes sense. I have theories that they're chimeric with Iron Warrior and World Eater, so that makes it even worse. Like, imagine that thing mixed up.
It sucks because they do have some really cool characters like Asterion, Moloch, and that one Dreadnought.
Oh. Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, they are quite interesting characters.
Yeah. Like, if you want more Greek theme Space Marines that are not the Minotaurs, the The Iron Snakes.
Yes.
The Iron Snakes are a better option than that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love the Iron Snakes. They're
Thanks.
so cool. Yeah, they are definitely the better option for Greek Space Marines because they're
Pretty
like
much.
they're like hot plates.
Yeah.
But if I could ask a different twist on that question, Lewis, if you don't mind,
Sure thing. What?
what are your least favorite and favorite traitor warbands?
That's really difficult because I think maybe my favorite would be Fulgrim for, because of stuff like Ryanor and because I like his fall into chaos. I like it.
Yeah.
Least favorite, I'm not really too sure, but maybe World Eaters because I feel like there's not much I can get out of them.
Yeah, in
Maybe.
40k, it's a bit more difficult to get stuff out of the world
Like-
eaters.
Like Angron, there's so much story you can get at Angron, especially like the whole idea of like Butcher's nails and his suffering and all that. There's a lot you can get out of that. But for something like blood, skulls, guts, blah, 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 it's like there's not much you can make a interesting antagonist out of that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, for me, it's the other way around. Like,
Really?
yeah, because here's the thing. With the World Eaters, people like them in Heresy, not that much in 40k because of that. Because, the downfall is one thing, and, but, them being a berserk beast that can do nothing but kill, people say, that's not exactly very character endearing. But I think that's also a question of the authors not being that creative on how to use them, much like what I said with the Templars. Because here's the thing. In the Ox of Omen books, we know that Angron is sort of still in agony, and when he gets killed, he gets like 2 seconds of respite before respawning and being on a, horrifying eternal agony of being a demon Primarch with the nails and everything.
Mhm.
I think there's more ways to explore rage than people let on. They just simply do not know how to do it, in my opinion, at least. Because
Makes sense.
because think on this: the Night Lords are some of people's favorite, traitor war, traitor legions. It's one of yours, Badger, if I recall correctly.
They are
And-
my favorite, yeah.
Yeah, and the Night Lords, are the Night Lords are,
Trash.
just plain evil. They're
Yeah.
just plain evil. Like, they're plain evil thinking that they're not, but they are.
No. I'll go off of that then, Hugh, seeing as you brought up the Night Lords. But yeah, the Night Lords are my favorite, and I like them because they are scum.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The appeal of them is that they are just absolute scum.
Awful.
They are cowards. They are bitches. They literally will avoid a fair fight if at all possible. But they are also like interesting in that regard of there is a weird sense of brotherhood in the Legion. They hate each other and they will kill each other, but they also like. It's hard to explain why I like them so much. It's because
That's actually kind of when we meet the Eaters, because I love how the World Eaters look in modern 40k. And I heard that the Yangro novel is good, although some people say it's not, but I heard that it's good. So I kind of like want the authors to try more with them.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. They have to, have some cognition to get from place to place at least, right?
Yeah, exactly. I do have the Angron book downstairs, but I haven't read it yet. But yeah, as for my least favorite traitor legion, it's the Emperor's Children.
Oh, what?
I find them dull, and I hate Fabius Bile.
Oh, bro, I love Fabius Bile. I loved his book series.
He is my least favorite character in all of 40k.
What? Me and Wham Bam, or me and shit, it's hard to say her name, but Goblin Girl. We did a whole podcast about talking about him. And it was great.
He just
Wham.
annoys me. He annoys me.
Mm,
It's like he's just like he's Cole without the charm. I can at least laugh at Cole being schizophrenic, but like Fabius Bile, he like if he was around in real life, Fabius Bile would be like the most pretentious fart sniffing asshole. Like Reddit.
He is not the fart sniffing asshole in 40K. Have you read his novels?
I have a while ago, and he was my least favorite part about it.
Like he's very like he talks down at the Emperor's Children, like the 40K Emperor's Children, saying that you guys are always striving for perfection, even though it's just a concept just doesn't exist, or it's just something that's meant to be impossible. And look at where you've become, or look at how far we have become as like humanity. Right?
Yeah.
This is coming from a guy who has seen what the Imperium could have become and how the very heights they have reached. And when he sees like something like how modern space marines are made, he's like, we've even degraded in language. It's like this guy who understands how the Imperium could have been, or something like that.
He doesn't do anything with that except like.
But he's trying. But he did things like the Glindhounds, which I really like, creating the new humans.
I liked the Glindhounds until they became nothing. There's nothing, like nothing's been done with them. Like it's been how many years since those books came out, and there's
well, that's because Games Workshop doesn't like Emperor's Children as an army.
I know.
Yeah,
maybe this will give us a chance to do Glindhounds as not a sub faction, but as units in the Emperor's Children.
Look at the bright side. At least he's not Lucius.
That is true. Lucius is the worst.
Yeah, Lucius is the worst. It's very easy to hate him.
And I will say this, Lewis. You have at least made it so I don't hate him as much. I still don't like him. But compared to a character like John Grammaticus or Erda, I can't say he is my least favorite character.
I mean, come on, that's a very easy statement.
That is the easiest statement.
I would say that my least favorite Chaos Space Marines would be... I mean, there's none that I outright hate in concept, but I think that would be either the Iron Warriors or no, you know who? The Death God. Those
really?
are really
like
Death God. Because I feel like the Death God outside of Mortarion himself are really one note. Maybe it's because I haven't read Lords of Silence.
I was going to say I would recommend reading the Lords of Silence.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
Because I like them in Flight of the Eisenstein.
Oh yeah, I like them in Flight of the Eisenstein, but I mean like in modern 40K.
Yeah,
I'm not in Heresy.
Yeah.
And Heresy's a little different.
Oh,
you know?
bro, modern day Death Guard are beautiful. I'm just saying, I really like.
Oh no, the models are great. I mean, character-wise, because at the same I feel like what the Death Guard themselves, at least from what I've read about them in modern 40K, they're like very one note. Like you see, like the thing that you say, like if the World Eaters are just kill, like the Death Guard just shit, stink, or
it's more of I will spread pestilence, the beautiful pestilence to all peoples of the world.
Pestilence this, pestilence that, I will spread pestilence. I mean, okay, they're Plague Marines. I understand that, they kind of have to do that, but at the same time, I feel like, that you could try to add some nuance to that. I feel like all the concepts on 40K can be added, can be made nuance so as they don't get boring. That's just all I'm saying.
I'll say this. The Lords of Silence book does a really good job at giving the Death Guard that nuance, because to me, instead of Plague and Pestilence, which it is a big part of the Death Guard, I see the Death Guard as a bit more of an allegory of depression.
They really are. They really are.
Yeah, because they are the complete loss of hope.
That is the whole
Well,
thing.
that's what Nurgle, in a way, that's kind of what Nurgle is. I mean,
And
that's
they go into that in the Lords of Silence a bit, where it's a very interesting look into the Death Guard.
right.
And
I will read it. I will read it.
And the thing is I actually shared this opinion one time where I like to imagine Mortarion, because people have compared his story to Buddha, is that I would imagine that in my version of Mortarion, if I were to, maybe do some changes, is that he still lives in the mountainside where it's like with his, foster parent, but imagine it's in the upper atmosphere, is so very clean. It's like above the clouds. It's beautiful. It's basically how you could see heaven, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But he doesn't know anything of the world below. So he decides, like Buddha, to actually go see the rest of his kingdom. But when he goes down there, he sees all the plague, all the death, and all the misery, right? But unlike Buddha, who goes on his journey to find enlightenment, Mortarion would never be able to find that, or he never finds that. And so, like what Badger has said, this is where Mortarion has fallen into like this horrible depression, where unlike Buddha, who had that motivation to find enlightenment out of depression, Mortarion never did.
I would say this: Mortarion, like most people, do not like Mortarion's personality, but his story. I think he's one of the most tragic Primarchs. Not because of the heights he fell, because that would be, I think, Fulgrim or Lorgar. Well, or
It'd be
Magnus.
Magnus.
Yeah, but Magnus, you know what? I think that Magnus had it coming, but I'll talk about that later.
Magnus fucked himself over.
Yeah, fucked himself over.
We won't even talk about this later. I'll just say this right now, before we go back to Mortarion. Magnus might have not done anything wrong, but he didn't do anything right either.
Yeah, pretty much. Like Magnus' whole shtick is it's all pride before the fall. Yeah. The moment I started reading Thousand Sons, the moment he starts speaking, I was like, yeah, no, he did everything wrong because he's so arrogant that he was just asking for it.
Mm-hmm. He's more prideful than Fulgrim.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be the one that falls due to vanity.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
I completely agree with you on Mortarion. He is
because he became what he despised.
Exactly. That is still my favorite part in the entire Dark Imperium trilogy, where Guilliman and Mortarion are talking, and Mortarion it's the delusion he has, that he has to lie to himself, where he's like killing all these innocent people on Macragge and in Ultramar, and he's telling himself, I'm serving the people again.
Yeah. Yeah, because plagues. If there's one thing a population enjoys, is horrify. If COVID has taught us anything, it's just how much we love pandemics.
We love it.
Yeah,
it's human nature. We can't resist it.
Yeah. And here's the thing that annoys me a bit of Nurgle players is that he's the only good god in 40k. No, he isn't.
No, he's
not.
No,
he fucking isn't.
They say Nurgle, like that whole thing. Nurgle loves you exactly how you are in this very moment. Never change.
Nurgle literally hijacks you, turns you into an abomination, and if he will make you suffer all the plagues in existence and not allow you to die until you agree to give him your soul, just for him to stop the pain, and you will be his slave forever. Yes, Nurgle loves you the same way a serial killer kidnapper loves his victims. That's
exactly the case. Hey! I do this because I love you.
Yes.
And then you beats her in the
we'll
face
be
again.
Together forever, my dear.
I want to go home.
It's that whole deal. Yeah, man. Chaos players who genuinely think that the Chaos Gods are good are weird.
Yeah. And like they give shit to Imperial players all the time, but it's like, look at the mirror, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh man.
I can agree that the Imperium is not exactly gold standard of the state of an empire, but your faction literally lives in hell. What the fuck are you talking about?
And as a way for me to get crucified, that's why we have the Tau Empire. And that's how we're going to end the pod.
Commie.
And that's how we're going to end the
Filthy
podcast.
Okay, goodbye.
Toodaloo.
But with all seriousness though, I really did have a great time. And before we end the show, actually, is there anything you guys would like to say before we kind of end?
I actually do have one final message, if you'll allow me, Huber.
Go ahead.
Lion for life, Dark Angels are the best knights.
Based.
Just for the record, the same man that just said that literally admitted that they're players, just as I said it was. Just pointing that out.
Okay, fine. We know you have an ego.
No. You have an ego because you cannot accept the truth. That's different.
But with that, I really did have a great time, and thank you all for watching, and thank you all for keeping up with me for season 3 of On Air. I can't wait to see you all for season 4. And until then, I'll see you all around.